back to another episode of the Backlog Breakdown, a video game podcast where we seek to encourage and equip the church to engage in the medium of video games wisely and responsibly. I'm your host, Josh, and with me today is my co-host and my brother in Christ for this episode, Nate. Nate, how's it going, man?
Hey, Josh. Going pretty well. You know,
Oh, awesome.
doing the whole mail thing, throwing letters in mailboxes and driving mail trucks and stuff.
Kicking away dogs.
Yeah.
You know, just how it goes. The weather's been crazy, man, right?
Crazy weather here in somewhere in Pennsylvania.
PA.
I forgot where what town it is. It's been a long day. So
Yeah. No, that makes sense. The
sun and everything, I'm fading fast. So
yeah.
Anyways.
That's how it goes. Awesome. Well, good to hear. I'm sorry about that, but we've got a great episode. We're gonna eat a whole plate of snakes tonight, at least 3 of them.
Nice.
Well, actually, I don't know if how do you eat a solid snake? Do you have to turn it into a liquid snake first? Make a little snake shake? I don't know.
Sounds appetizing.
Delicious. The other white meat. That was from an old Christian movie. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Extreme Days is what it was called.
You are appealing to my senses here.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. And so that's a good point. We've got someone else here. In fact, we've got a few other people here on this episode because we're doing a book club episode. We all chose to play a game that I did not play, but we'll get into that in just a second. Metal Gear Solid 3 is what we're talking about. Snake Eater. That was the lame joke that I was trying to throw out there. And so we have called together all of the snakes because we've all controlled snakes to play this game to talk about this game, Metal Gear Solid 3. And so we've got on a whole cast, one of which is the primary Nate. You've heard from him. The only Nate who's here. Our regular Nate, I don't know, regular Nate, irregular Nate, normal Nate,
asked his
abnormal.
diet,
if
he's his bathroom habits. I don't know.
Could be, that's kind of a strange question to broach, especially publicly. So, I don't know which one's normal. Are you normal?
That's debatable.
Okay. Well, we do have a Nate on.
Yes,
a Nate. And apparently, based on the name that you chose for the recording, you are solid. So maybe that means normal. I don't know. But we also have some friends on here as well, and I'm just gonna go according to my screen. So there are no favorites here. But Nick, I see. How you doing, man?
Hey,
it's good to see you.
Good. Yeah, it's good to see you and everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and you're seeing us right side up. Is that correct?
Yeah, I am.
You crawled out from under the porch.
Got all the settings right.
Yeah.
Turn the computer around.
Nice.
Sticky tack to the ceiling.
Awesome. Well, let's see how far we can get before all the blood rushes to your head, and you're not making any sense. Like a certain game director auteur that I know of that I will not speak ill of on this episode. Because everything makes sense and everything that he creates. But we'll talk about that more later.
You got to pay that.
Next up, I'm just going to go. I don't know. Do you prefer avatars or do you prefer names that are typed into the chat box for this recording? I don't know. So,
you just call me anything. Just don't call me late for dinner.
That's... well, Shirley... that was so lame. My goodness, that's like
you can't be serious.
I personally hate that joke. So
yeah,
I got to self-degradate and just make myself look terrible.
Well, how about we travel across the globe now that we've heard from an Australian? And Michael, this is your first time on, isn't it?
Yeah, first time on. Yeah, man. Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thanks.
Welcome. Glad to have you. Well, you've heard the podcast before, so you hear how this generally goes. But it's good to see you.
Thanks.
And then, globe trekking. Globe trekking, is that the term? I don't know. Trekking the globe, traveling. Once again, crossing those country lines, markers. I know that there's a word for that, but I don't remember what it is. Berrigan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
What did he say?
Feeling good. I'm doing all right.
Anyone else understand what he's saying?
Ooh, we need some subtitles.
Is the Canadian accent too thick?
Aren't you missing an A at the end? A?
Oh yeah, don't you know, eh?
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Now we know for real. Yeah. We have indeed.
Don't know what you're all talking about, eh?
Got it.
I haven't seen the Tim Hortons coffee cup yet, so I don't know. I wasn't sure if it was real or not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, stereotypes.
I'm more of a McDonald's coffee guy, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a traitor to your country or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is a weird thing, though. Since I moved to the Midwest, like a year and a half ago, I do appreciate gas stations more. Like, there are some really nice gas stations. There's actually a nice one that opened up just the other day, like literally the other day, that we went to for the first time. And it's kind of like a mini grocery store in there as well. And they have like good deals on like milk and eggs and stuff like that. But they had free coffee and all kinds of stuff. Anyways.
Some sort of butler come out and fuel up your car?
No, that's not part of it. But they did, throw a bunch of free stuff your way. So, and
Nice.
Even the lead up to it, when they were building it, people were all abuzz about how we're getting this one gas. It's called Quick Star.
Oh yeah, Quick Stars are nice.
So, yeah. Casey's is the big one around here. We have like 4 of those in town.
Yeah.
Which is good too. Like, don't get me wrong, but
whenever I'm in your neck of the woods, because my wife is from your state.
That's right.
We always have to stop in at like Casey's and get a donut and all that, or the pizza.
Breakfast pizza is one of the things they're known for. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been the cause of much heartburn and acid reflux on my drives through Iowa, but yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Drinking gas will do that.
Yeah.
Delicious. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, in honor of those who are not here, I'm not even going to reference it. I'm just going to play the clip.
It's been
okay. That's all that I'm going to do, because I don't even want to acknowledge the Bare Naked Ladies. Even I don't know. I'm sure there's a joke in there because of Naked Snake.
What do you got against those Canadians, eh?
Oh, that's right. They are Canadian. I just have. They chose the worst name for their band ever. I think I've shared it on the podcast before, but when I was a kid, it was Kids WB. If you remember, it was like, I think it was a Saturday morning programming of shows, but WB, Kids WB was advertising that they were having the Bare Naked Ladies on like a month in advance for their kids block of shows on Saturdays. And I felt like I had to turn the channel every time they like were advertising. And this was when I was a kid. Like, nowadays, that's like funny joke. Like, things have gotten a lot more crude on TV in general. But like, this was like, 25 years ago. And I was just like, ugh. So anyways, that's what I have against it. And I don't know. It sure is a song. They sure did make music. But anyways, I play that tune because we typically talk about how we've been over the last time since we recorded. But since it's been so long since we've been on, or and some of us haven't even been on here before, the one thing that I'll bring to the table is that right before this, my church, we had a baptism. We baptized 2 younger guys out at a lake here in town. So this evening we went out to that, which was really cool. It was kind of one of those things where that's funny. The guys who were being baptized are connected to the church, but haven't been regular attenders yet. And so they were invited friends and family out, and we announced it to the church. It's kind of like, hey, if you want to come, you can come. And it was really cool to roll up and see probably like 30 to 40 people there on a Friday night, who wanted to come out and see this baptism. And then we had, some pizza and stuff like that just to kind of hang out afterwards. So anyways, it was really encouraging to see, two young guys profess their faith, take that step of faith in baptism. And then also to see like our church come together and celebrate it along with them. So that was pretty cool. That was something cool that happened over the past couple weeks, because I feel like the past couple weeks, honestly, have been a little bit of a blur. And there's nothing like in particular, no reason. It's just the pace of life has been pretty busy lately. But that said, since it's been so long since you guys have been on, how about we just give a little bit of introductions or any anecdotes that you would like to share in a somewhat reasonable amount of time, and we'll just go through the same order that we did before. So Nate, being the official co-host of the episode, as Nate's always are.
Of course.
How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Yeah. Not a whole lot going on right now, aside from the whole mail thing. No, I'll go ahead and say it now. This is not actually Nate McKeever. We've been lying to you this whole time.
What? Plot twist.
Plot twist, yeah.
It's nano machines.
Yeah, this is actually the other Nate.
He's going to start glitching out. Like
the simulation is acting up.
This is Spike. And as far as stuff going on, to keep it brief, I feel like something's always going on with one of my kids whenever I do one of these recordings. We're having the baby shower for my second son, who's going to be here in a little under 2 months, and we're doing that tomorrow. So that's kind of the highlight right now. And again, like I said last time, it's like you talk about your kid, what else are you going to say after that? So like I said, keeping it brief, that's about it.
Love it. That's exciting, man. That's so much fun. Nice. So Nick, how are you going to follow up talking about?
Yeah, beat that
kid.
Well, Lauren is currently pregnant with quadruplets.
Oh wow! Oh,
and
man.
We're about to have 4 baby showers.
Just to get back at me.
Yes. No, thankfully she's not at all, not pregnant or anything. Let's see. Recently moved house in the last couple of months, and
that's right.
It's just nice to get that done with and establish the new house and make it homey again. That's been nice and cool.
Yeah.
And just getting used to normal life again.
Awesome.
So
yeah.
Beat that, whoever's next.
Michael, have you moved lately, or I don't know?
No, for real. Actually, we just closed on a house like a couple weeks ago.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey.
So,
nice.
Yeah, just an upgrade from the one we're in now, and yeah, we'll be moving in the next week, Lord willing. So,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
Just one house or 2 houses to up the story?
One house.
4.
Yeah, this is house number 4. But really excited to be on the show with you guys. I've been listening for probably like a year or 2 now, and I found you guys from Reformed Gamers with Logan Steele back in the day. And then I found him through Popcorn Theology. I don't know if you guys listen to that
Okay.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I literally was like, I had no idea. Like, I thought I was on an island as a believer who's into games. And then I heard an ad for Reformed Gamers. I'm like, what? There's others like me out there?
That is exactly how I learned about Backlog Breakdown.
Oh, nice.
In that same order and everything. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. So anyway,
That's cool.
So yeah, I've been loving it, man. It's been cool to have this community. It's like, it's one thing to be in the games, but then to, be among brothers and, have the same values, and a lot of us are family guys. That's an awesome thing. So, loved listening to the show and excited to be on. I hail from the free state of Florida over here in the US, so it's roasting We are
No kidding.
basically, it is so hot, man. It's brutal. So this is the time of year we don't go outside unless we have to. So it's kind of backwards for us. But yeah, things are going good. Like I said, we closed on the house. So yeah, things are busy with that. And yeah, besides that, we're good. Family's good. Yeah, married, have 2 kids, 2 young kids,
Awesome.
ages 2 and 3 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So just had our second. But she's good. She's a sleeper. So she'll
Nice.
like during the night, she'll only like feed like once or twice and she'll just sleep. She might even like skip some. Yeah. So we're blessed.
Yeah.
Praising the
Yeah.
Lord for that. So that's going good. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. That's
Yeah.
so cool. So cool.
Yeah.
All right. Bergen, it seems like you have to follow that up somehow, right? I mean,
We're
I don't know.
expecting quintuplets. I just bought a
Okay.
fourplex. Um, yeah. So, yeah, I'm Justin, Bergen on Discord and most places. But yeah, yeah, just getting through summer right now. Just
Mhm.
came off some vacation time off of work, and
Sweet.
no, our youngest just turned 1, so I'm a husband and father of 3. I've only been on once before, Final Fantasy podcast like 2 years ago. So
Mm.
that's a lot of ground to cover. We had just had our second at the time, so
Yeah.
yeah, the third is turning 1, so that probably indicates quick turnaround on baby 3 there. But no, it's good. Um, yeah.
Sweet.
Other than that, yeah, I can't think of much.
Cool. Cool, man. Well,
Mhm.
awesome. Now that we've had some introductions, we know each other a little bit more before, diving into battle. We've got some other experiences that we'd like to share.
We hit record and let it roll, trading stories like Pokemon. Laughing loud till the mics might break. In this world we're making no mistakes. SP share, level it up. Life's an adventure, we can't get enough. From Meridian to Galaxy Square, we're growing together with XP share.
I still need to change that song, and I have not done that yet, which is lovely. But you love it, right, Nate? It's
Of
your
course,
favorite.
it's my
Yeah.
highlight of the entire episode.
Yeah. Good. And that's what I thought. So maybe we'll keep it around for a little bit longer. Anyways, experience share. We like to share some experiences of things that we've been into. We like to start off with just any kind of media outside of video games. We'll get to video games in just a second. That we'd like to kick around. So if you've got something to share, the one thing that I'm bringing again to this table, apparently there's a metaphorical table here that we're all sitting at. I don't know. Anyways, is a YouTuber that I've followed for quite a while. I've been watching some of his videos lately. He goes by Ward on Words. His name is Mark Ward, and he is a nerdy language guy. And he came out of the King James only movement when he was quite a bit younger. And so he has this series called False Friends in the King James version, where he goes through words in the King James version that have changed their meaning since the original King James was translated into English. And it's just been a really interesting series. So he's trying to help everyone understand these words that when you read them, you assume they mean one thing, but because the language has changed in the past few hundred years since the KJV had originally come out, he goes through an explanation. So, for instance, I'm sure we've all heard the term "the host of heaven," or a host of something, and generally, I would assume what that means is just like a throng of people, right? Like a bunch of people. Well, actually, in the original, or what it meant when it was originally translated into English, host actually specifically means army, not just a group of people. So that's like one of those things where it's no one's fault that the language has changed over time, that English has changed in this way. But anyways, so it is very nerdy. If that kind of thing floats your boat, if that sounds interesting at all, I would encourage you to check out Word on Words on YouTube. And if that doesn't, if that just sounds super boring to you, you probably shouldn't touch it. Although I do like his sense of humor because he's very quirky, put it that way. So that's the one thing that I have. And again, we'll just go in the same order. So Nate, do you have any experiences you want to share?
I was just going to say real quick on that. It's too bad we're talking about Metal Gear Solid 3 because what you were talking about has a lot to do with the plot of the 5th game. And so, yeah, anyways, just a little aside. It's all about language and weird stuff like that. But as far as stuff that I have been into, not a whole lot. The main thing that I've mentioned this a little bit in the Discord is trying to go back through The Unseen Realm by Michael Heiser.
Intense.
It is very intense. The first time I tried to go through it, I don't think I was quite mentally prepared. Hey, look at that.
Mine's across the basement, but I'd hold it up to you.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it is a little more intense, but I'm going through with my Notion app right next to me, so I'm jotting down notes. I'm somebody that if I don't type it or write it down, it doesn't stick. And if I'm going to take the time to read it, I'd like to kind of soak it in. And taking it really slow. I'm only about 5 chapters in so far, and yeah, it's pretty dense, but it's pretty good so far. So, and I've heard a lot of his his lectures and whatnot. And it's along those same lines, but it goes into a lot more detail. So.
Yep, I've listened to it on audiobook a couple times, and I do have a physical copy, but I've been meaning to go through the physical copy because, like, just listening to him as he goes through a number of different verses, I do feel like I owe it more time to look into these verses myself and in the context of things that he goes into, and I have not done that. So I agree. It's slow going is probably the best way, so that you can dive in and see what you think as well, and not just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, because he says some pretty crazy stuff in here that if you're not if you haven't been exposed to that sort of thing, it just some of the ideas that he presents, it can be a little jarring at first, and so something like this really does deserve taking some time and saying, okay, is this legitimate, or is this guy just making all this stuff up? And so yeah,
awesome. Nick, what experience do you have to share?
One that I can probably thank Trash Turkey for in the Pro Chacho channel, ultra exclusive chat channel for the patrons. He shared some videos of soapboxes, soapbox cars. So I've been enjoying watching soapbox races with Atticus, my son. Just there's something to do. And something other than Paw Patrol. Yeah. So, like, I'll go for anything. And yeah, these have been real fun to watch just because, one, people just get annihilated when they crash unexpectedly. And that's if they don't finish the race. Even if they do finish the race, they still might hurt themselves over the line. I mean, not that it's good that people hurt themselves, but it's just kind of funny, the crashes anyway. Sort of just like when you're watching like a skateboarding mishap video and they just neuter themselves on a pole or something like that when board slips while they're doing a grind.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah. But yeah, you're just watching a lot of people get pretty bad gravel rash, and that's cool seeing the effort some of the people put into their vehicles, and Atticus will just be like, oh, look, it's a toothpaste. Yes, it is a tube of toothpaste that someone is driving. Just stuff like that. They've been enjoyable. So shout out to Trash Turkey and his good taste in weird videos. Thank you.
Nice. I like that. I like that shout out too. I need to watch a bit more of that. All right, Michael, do you have anything that you want to share? Any experiences to share with us here?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll start with some books actually, which is funny because I'm not a huge reader, but I've been diving into a few books. I've been getting deep into the Tolkien stuff, so I'm reading through the Silmarillion for the first time.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, huge Lord of the Rings fan, but obviously not. I haven't been like super deep into the books, so if you guys are like hardcore Tolkien peeps, you're probably like hardcore judging me, which is fine. It's okay. I'm getting there. Just be patient. But I'm loving it, man. And I actually read Children of Hurin last year, which was really
Okay.
good, and that kind of got me back
Nice.
into like reading Tolkien. And yeah, so that's been going really good. Kind of just taking my time through that. And then I've also been reading this book. It's called A Shepherd's Look at Psalm 23 by Philip Keller. And it's like a small little book, but it's really cool. It's basically this guy who lived as a shepherd, like in his as his career or whatever. And he
Okay.
looks at Psalm 23 and he explains, like going bit by bit, like this is what it means to like have a sheep lie down by green pastures or by still waters, or
Hmm.
like the whole like what does a shepherd need to do to have a sheep actually do that, and what are sheep's behavior typically, with just like taking care of them and that sort of thing. And he just kind of tries to, really build out the analogy and the metaphor of like
Mm-hmm.
us being the sheep and God being our shepherd, and just bring it to like real life experience. Like this is what sheep are really like, which, as a reader, we're like, oh, that's me. I'm super needy and defenseless and a mess and need someone to constantly protect me and provide for me and watch over me. And it's been great. So it's not like a super deep theological book, but I highly recommend it. It's like, short chapters, good for devotional. And it's so good. So I've been reading that too.
Nice.
Um, yeah. And then I think, yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Is this, do we go into like shows and stuff too if we're like
Yeah.
been checking those out?
Yeah.
So
You're welcome
one
to.
that we just watched was called Dark Matter on Apple TV. I don't know if you guys
Okay.
have looked into that. It's pretty cool. It's basically it's kind of like a mystery thriller show,
Okay.
and it's about this scientist who finds a way to create a box that you can enter, and it basically allows you to like I'm probably gonna butcher this, but like enter the quantum realm to where you can access any reality that you want, basically. So like
Okay.
you have this hallway and like all these doors, and each door is like a different reality of your life that began once you made a choice. So it's this whole like concept
Okay.
of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
through your life, right? Like when you make a choice, it splits off, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like a different reality, and you can like jump through them. And yeah, it's super interesting because like another version of him comes back to his reality and like tries to take him out because he wants that version of the life. And
Oh
it's pretty
wow.
trippy, yeah, but it was
Yeah.
really good.
Okay.
And there's like content wise, there's not a ton of like bad stuff in it. It's pretty
Sweet.
clean, and it was really gripping. And the moral of the story, or I guess like some of the themes, were really actually encouraging. I guess like marriage and relationship and like respecting that, because there's like he basically like the main character is like fighting for his wife and his family, and
Oh,
he
that's
like
so
wants
cool.
to get back to them. And there's like different instances where he could have kind of like broken off or given up, and he keeps
Right.
trying to like fight for that. He's like, I gotta get back to my family. And yeah, so that's kind of
Nice.
surprising. I feel like in our day and age, that's pretty rare, to really
Right.
like exalt and cherish, like I'm a one woman man type thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
and just marriage in general. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, that
That's
was
awesome.
a really good show we recently watched, so I recommend that one too.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier for, like Tolkien nerds. I'm one of those guys that my dad actually had us read through Lord of the Rings as a kid. So like I
Nice.
knew of Lord of the Rings before the movies,
Nice.
but I still to this day have never actually read through the Silmarillion. So I'm going to say
Ooh.
well done. Not quite out, and my wife on the other side of the
Yeah.
camera just waved at me, was like, I have. She has. She
It's
has me
not
beaten there.
it's not too bad, and I feel like I was a bit intimidated by it because I've heard like it's pretty heavy. And yeah, it is
Mm.
kind of heavy. It's not like super easy like novel reading, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, like if you're into world building, it's like
Right.
all about it's hard, all about that, and it's really good. Like he was an absolute genius to come up with all this stuff back in the day. It's just like incredible. So yeah, it's so
I've
good.
started it multiple times, and that very first chapter is just beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
I love his creation epic with the story, with the songs and stuff like that. It's
Yes.
great. But
Man.
but I've just never, for one reason or another, I've never continued and finished it. So. Anyway, so there's my nerd card.
I got a secondhand copy, and on the inside of it's
Okay.
like this nice little note saying, to whoever, this is a gift from such and such school. I think I was from England. We hope you enjoy it. Obviously didn't enjoy it because it ended up in a secondhand store and ended in my hands.
Oh.
They start reading it, it was like, what in the world is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, Justin, what do you have to share, or do you have any experiences to share with us?
Experiences. I don't know. I just had vacation. It was more of a staycation at home.
Okay.
We went to Fargo, North Dakota, which is like 3 hours from where I live.
Oh, nice.
Hung out with my brother and sister-in-law, but having vacation time, I just kind of chilled. Did my annual rewatch of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Okay.
So, I'm a pretty big fan of that series. I watch it once a year. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So like the original series, not the rebirth.
So
sorry, I just opened a whole can of worms. Sorry.
You opened a can of worms. Yeah. All right. So I watched the first 24 episodes of the television series.
Okay.
And then I watch about the first hour of the movie End of Evangelion. And then you stop about halfway. There's a point where you stop kind of. And then you watch the 25th and 26th episodes of the TV show. And then you finish the movie. And then I read the manga. And then I watch the Rebuild movies. And then I read the Anima books, which is an alternate telling of it changes the ending of the show, and it basically becomes a big giant super robot show, but in book form.
Okay.
And so that's kind of my order of things that I do. Yeah.
Nice.
So
you have it down to a science.
Kind
That's
of,
intense.
yeah. I've spent way too much time on that series, but it's technically my second favorite anime or piece of media. Number one is Gurren Lagann, if you've ever seen that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a big anime mecha nerd. So yeah. So I'll typically watch Evangelion and Gurren Lagann once a year. So
okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's kind of what I'm into lately. So I'm reading the manga now. So I watched the show, reading the manga. So yeah.
Nice.
Otherwise,
that's cool.
Yeah. It's been pretty chill here lately. So
Sweet. That's a good thing to say in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
But
actually, it is. It's really today was cold.
Oh.
Nick, you're probably going to understand this. It was below 20 degrees today.
Huh.
So.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So like low 70s.
Okay.
For you Americans.
Yeah. Yes. That's what I understand.
Yeah. High 60s, low 70s is what it would have been today.
Okay.
But it was like 90 yesterday.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's what this weekend looks like for us. But anyways, we don't have to get into weather talk. I'm sorry.
Oh no,
I'm
but
sorry.
It's 15 degrees here.
There you go. Lovely.
So we're going to start going around the circle again to talk about weather.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could do that. But actually, let's go around the circle one more time to talk about video games, because this is a video game podcast. So let's just throw out, some of the things that we have been playing. And actually, you know what? I'll go last this time, because that's generally how we tend to do these things. So Nate, what have you been playing that you'd like to talk about? Don't feel obligated.
Yeah. So I've been playing through the Xenoblade series. Just finished
Yeah, you
the
have.
third, and yeah, it's been pretty good. The third
Yeah,
and
it's
the
okay.
DLC Future Redeemed,
I
and
don't know if you can see
both of
behind me,
those
but Xenoblade 2.
Mm,
nice. See, I
nice.
had a feeling you'd have something to say, Justin.
Oh, I love Xenoblade so
We can quickly make this a Xenoblade podcast
much. Mm-hmm.
if we want.
We can make it a Xeno podcast if you want, because I've got Saga
Oh.
and Gears over here too. So
Oh,
I'm gonna
wow.
have to go.
Wow.
See ya.
I was gonna say, Porcho, what was your favorite Xenoblade?
Got nothing to add.
Final Fantasy
Yeah.
X-2 was his favorite Xenoblade.
Yeah, that counts, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Cool.
finished those recently, the DLC for that, and recently started. I'm about 10 hours into uh, Chronicles X, and
Okay. Okay.
it's very jarring how different it
Yeah.
is
Mm-hmm.
from the other ones. I'm starting to get it a little bit more as far as like what they're going for. Um,
Mhm.
it definitely feels more like they're leaning into the multiplayer aspect of it by
Okay.
just the your protagonist is a silent protagonist, which kind of meshes better with interacting with other people and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean the gameplay loop as far as the combat and stuff like that, it's good. It just I wasn't a huge fan of the first game's. You got to scroll horizontally to each art that you want to use and that sort of thing. Um, that's a minor nitpick, but uh, definitely missing like the huge narrative of the other games. But now that I'm kind of getting knee deep into this one, I'm starting to what I'm figuring out is it's a really good game to kind of put on like a podcast or something like that and
Mhm.
just go out and grind or look at different parts of the map and just kind of. I don't want to say it's a good game to play with background noise, but that's kind of what it's been so far.
Mhm.
Um, but what it's actually making me want to do more than anything else is go back to the other games and kind of like explore everything there, because I went through all the other ones so
Mm.
quickly that I didn't take time to kind of soak it all in. Um, but this one's keeping my attention for now, so it's been pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed it when I played through it on the Wii U, but it is very different than the other ones. I mean, not necessarily in like gameplay mechanics, but yeah, just like the it's not exactly a lack of story. There is a story there, but it's not story centric the way that the other games are. It's
Yeah.
probably the closest thing to an actual MMO that I've ever played because I've intentionally stayed away from those. But
Yeah,
but yeah,
it you would think it translates really well because the combat in the entire series is always kind of referred to as
right.
like a single player MMO, right?
Yeah.
And so it does kind of work. I haven't really dipped into the multiplayer aspect a whole lot. Um, they have
Yeah.
the option to kind of have those side quests that you're doing with everybody else, and I'll turn those on just to get some extra loot or whatever. But
Okay.
um, yeah, that's about the extent I've done with the multiplayer stuff so far.
Nice. Nice. Cool,
Yeah,
man.
that's about it.
I do like that series, and as has been said, this could easily, turn into a longer podcast. But that just makes me think that hey, we'll need to have some more episodes in the future dedicated towards the series.
I mean, if
Um,
it kicks Porcho off the podcast, off this episode, I'm okay with. We can go ahead and we can do that.
You can talk about your horse girl pony games. I don't care.
So, Porto, what games have you been playing?
I've mainly been dabbling in things. I haven't been
Okay.
playing anything to really finish them at the moment. Just very inconsistent with what I've been doing lately. So I started up Dredge last week on the Switch 2. That's fine. It's just nice and casual. Pick it up, easily play it, put it down again. Kind of got its
Nice.
hooks in me. And Mario Kart World, because I can play that and let my son enjoy the fact that he's watching it, and I get
Mhm.
him to play it by turning on auto drive, auto
Yep.
steer, and auto item use. So
Yep.
then he's like, "Wow, I'm playing.
I'm really good at this game."
Yeah, that's fun. And I fired up Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC last night just to see how it
nice.
looked on my new rig, and it looks fantastic. So I will probably go into that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a great game.
Okay. It's that one kind of scares me with how big it is. I don't know.
It's big time sink.
Yeah. So,
But if you enjoy just a nice story and a good story and in a Western setting, then try it out.
yeah, nice. Yeah, I can feel you with the whole dabbling thing. We'll get into it when I actually go through my games. But I'll just say now that I redeemed a free month of Game Pass, and so I'm just like, wow, this is a lot of
sense.
games at my fingertips.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I feel the pull. And then of course Silksong gets announced, and it's a Game Pass game. But of course, I don't mind spending money on that. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. All I'm saying is I get the whole dabbling thing. But Michael, how about you? What games have you been playing, or anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I've been kind of working through the my locked and loaded list for the
Sweet.
beatdown. So I'm right now on God of War Ragnarok.
Okay.
Started that one up. That's on my list. So I'm probably like 6 hours into that.
Okay.
I played the first one last year and it was good.
Okay.
I started it like a few years ago and it just wasn't clicking, so I just started it over and it was cool. I really liked it. I mean, yeah, like it's a really good experience. It obviously looks incredible, like for a PS4 game, it's awesome, and it's just like super cinematic and fun. So yeah, the second one, it's good so far. It's not like blowing me away. It feels kind of like just a reskin of the first game a little bit to some degree, but I'm sure it'll pick up, so I'm not too worried about it. So that's been going good. Besides that, I had a couple games that that I kept open just because I started to play them and then stepped away. So one of them is Death Stranding. Oops.
Okay.
Sorry, Nate, if you're listening. And I was actually like, I think it was a few months ago, Porcho, you were talking about it on the Discord. And yeah, by the way, for anyone listening on the Discord, I go by Acostia. So if you see me there, that's me. And we were talking. That's me. Yeah, Acostia. And yeah, we were talking about Death Stranding, and I think you and I were like in the same spot. And it's like 10 hours in, and it's just like I feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm not playing and having fun. Like this shouldn't. I don't know, but some people love it. It's fine, but I think that one's one that I'm gonna abandon. And then
don't worry, 9 hours later, it still felt the same.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, I want to keep playing it. If it's like, you know what I mean? I got other stuff to do. I got tons of games I want to play.
But it's only like 40 hours total, so
yeah. Oh my word! I'm like, okay, Kojima, I know that you've got a big name. Everyone loves you, but like, please respect my time a little bit more. Like, do you have to take that long? Whatever. Anyway, we won't go into that. But another game I was looking at is 13 Sentinels. Aegis Rim. Yeah. So
fantastic.
I know, dude. And I think you mentioned it when I was like asking everyone about it on Discord, but I have some bad news. It's not clicking for me, man. So I might have to abandon it. I know. But here's the thing is it's like it's basically, in my opinion, like a visual novel that you kind of play a little bit. And it's like a real-time strategy aspect to it, and which is cool, but I don't know. I don't play a lot of visual novels, so it's like not really clicking with me. And I kind of like, if I'm playing a game, I want to play it, a bit more than that. So it was pretty interesting, but I don't know, maybe I'll pick it up again. But
I will say it took me a couple tries to get into it, and I'm like a pretty I like my heady sci-fi. It has a ton of anime Japanese media references, which is like my wheelhouse. So like it even took me a couple tries, but yeah,
Okay.
when our third child was born last year, we had to spend some time in the Ronald McDonald House, and I had my Switch in that game, and I like at night that was what I did, and so
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I love, like sci-fi, stories and stuff like that.
hmm
So I thought I was gonna get into it, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll pick it up again, but I think for now I might step away. Yeah, and then besides that, I started picking up Pokemon Y. Super random.
Okay.
I know, but like when I grew up, my intro to gaming was Pokemon. I'm a Pokemon kid from way back in the day. Grew up when it was a big deal. Game
Mm-hmm.
Boys were like my first thing, getting into the whole gaming space. There you go. Oh yeah, that's a jam. Classic, dude.
yeah,
Gen 1 all day
hmm
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gen
Yeah.
2 is good too, but
yep,
anyway, and then yeah, so like we don't have to get too much into this, but like my gaming story, like I was a gamer growing up and then stepped away from it college age-ish and then stepped back into it
Mm-hmm.
around 2020. So when I was getting
Okay.
back into it, I was like, yeah, like let me pick up Pokemon. I picked up like Pokemon Sword and it was not working. I'm like, I feel like this is for like a 5-year-old or something.
hmm
And I'm like, can't do it.
That's fair.
Sorry if anybody likes it, but I was like, I just couldn't. It just didn't click. But I've heard Pokemon Y is good. I started playing it a little bit and it's going pretty good. Like I'm enjoying it. It's just super chill, like mindless, like
Yeah.
RPG kind of just, just you know the drill, how it goes, and you don't have to really think too much about it. So that's been good. And then last one, Monster Hunter Stories. I looked at a little bit. I don't know if you guys have played
Okay.
that. Yeah, and it was surprising. It's kind of like the same Pokemon feel, but it's obviously in the
Okay.
Monster Hunter world. And I
Mm-hmm.
liked it enough. I only played it for a couple hours, but I liked it enough that I'm looking to try to pick up the physical at some point.
Sweet.
So yeah, it's just something about it, the charm about it. I don't know. Like I know it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to blow me away, but it was interesting enough. I was like, it might scratch the Pokemon itch for me. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Sweet.
Yeah,
that is a cool eclectic mix of different
yeah.
games. I
I'm
like that.
kind of
I like
jumping
that.
around. So yeah,
Yeah. Sweet.
yeah, man.
All right, Justin. How about you, man? What you been playing?
I have been kind of all over the place as well
Okay.
recently. I'm kind of getting back into my lane right now though. So,
Okay.
uh, did Metal Gear
Mm-hmm.
3 obviously for the podcast. Immediately jumped into Metal Gear 1. So, I've always known about Metal Gear. I've like looked into it. I've tried playing it a couple times. The play style hasn't really meshed. It took me a couple tries to actually get into it. But I, dove into it this time. I got through 3, loved it. Played 1, loved it. I'm about an hour into 2, and then my wife
Ah.
took over the PS5. She's playing Hogwarts Legacy right now.
Okay.
So I had to jump over to my trusty old PS2, and with that, I picked up my Mega Man X Legacy Collection. Um, so I beat X2. I 100%ed it about a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
Um, Fantastic. Loved it. I felt I really meshed with the game and the systems in a way that I hadn't before. Um,
Okay.
so, like as a kid, played Mega Man X games, never beat them. And now I'm
Okay.
like realizing how much I like them and the short stages, the structure, the bosses, and like actually having to get good at it. So
Yeah.
that was really good. Um, Went back, beat Astrobot DLC, the Vicious Void 2
Mm.
levels, which fantastic. I love Astrobot. Um, Such a fantastic little game. Don't know that it should have won Game of the Year last year, but uh,
Okay.
I I still think like the world of it. I think it's a 10 out of 10. They've been putting out free levels for like the last year now, and it's yeah, I
Oh
recommend it to
wow.
everyone. Yeah. So
Well, that's
yeah, every
cool.
about 3 months they put out like 5 new levels. So
Huh.
that's been fun. And I think I'm forgetting something in between there. However, uh, this week Trails in the Sky first chapter remake demo drop, and it's all I have done in my free time since.
I
Okay.
forgot to mention that too. Gosh.
Yes. Oh, and
Ah.
as a fan of the series, I'm gonna see if I can show you guys this. This is my Trails wall over here.
Wow.
I collect all the special edition whenever they come out.
Yeah.
You guys can lambaste me for this if you want. I dropped 300 Canadian dollars on this new limited edition,
Okay.
and I broke my limited run games rule of I don't want to order from that company. But for some reason they got the rights to this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I'm surprised.
This is weird because usually it's NISA that does all the trail
Yeah.
stuff. For some reason, publisher Gung Ho got this one. They
Okay.
did the Grandia remake, or
Okay.
the Grandia ports. What's the other one they did recently? Lunar. They did Lunar,
Gotcha.
bringing
Okay.
that forward, and now they've got Trails in the Sky first chapter. What a fantastic feeling game.
Okay.
Like I've played the original from 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This feels so true to that. They changed a couple
Okay.
things here and there, a couple lines of dialogue. They actually changed a pretty famous line of dialogue, which I was like, don't know how much I like that, but
Okay.
it feels like I'm playing an anime from the 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
and like that was my teenage years when I really got into anime. So like it just it makes me feel like a 16-year-old kid again playing this game.
Yeah.
And so they've incorporated all the best parts, it feels like, of the more recent entries into it
Oh
now.
wow.
And for anyone wanting to try it, like you get the whole prologue, which is a good 5 to 10 hours of the game.
Okay.
So yeah, for anyone that wants to try dipping their toes into the Trails series, highly recommend it. The demo costs you
Yeah.
nothing but a couple hours of your time to figure out if this is something you like and you want. So
1000% co-sign on that. I've
yes.
played through most of that demo as well, and it
Yeah.
is a great place to start. If the rest of the game keeps up, now it could be like right after this, it just completely
Yeah.
tanks. But
Mhm.
they did such a good job of like keeping the same, like the music and everything. Once that starts
Mhm.
hitting, oh man, it was so good.
Yeah, and they have new
But yeah,
renditions of all the songs, and you can play the original soundtrack if you want. And
Okay.
yeah, it's
I think that
so unbelievably good.
this is their make or break moment with the series, because they've really been trying to get it going in the West.
Yeah.
All the sales show drop off in like the newer entries. Like they still have retained a fan base, but it's not as
Oh.
strong.
Okay.
So I think by bringing this one forward, they're really like, this is we're going in guns loaded. We're trying to kind of revitalize the series before they finish it,
Sure.
because they're kind of to
Gotcha.
the last. They've said there's going to be one more arc. For those unfamiliar
Okay.
with the Trails of series, there are currently 13 games in this series, and they tell
Yeah.
a continuous narrative story. There are different arcs in that, but different characters, different regions. But
Right.
you can kind of think of it like the Marvel Cinematic Universe before it gets bad. Um, so we're an Iron Man, or we're Captain America and Hulk and
Mhm.
Avengers style meetup games, and it's best to play it from the first game all the way through the 13th. But they have said that they're probably at the last arc now. They
Okay.
just finished up the fourth arc. We
Okay.
get that game in January, the 13th game in the series, and then probably next year they will be starting. And it looks like the releases between Japan and North America are now synced up, and will be
Oh
simultaneous
wow.
releases. Because this one's a simultaneous release.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
but
That's
yeah,
that's a big deal because those are text heavy games.
yes,
And like you said, traditionally they haven't done that.
right,
So
right. We just talked about reading Lord of the Rings. The
Mhm.
word count of one of these games is longer than Lord of the Rings. Now that's counting story, NPC dialogue, all sorts. There are books within the games to read. But yeah,
Right. And there's so much content. At least, so I've only played the original in the first game in the series, so I don't
Oh, yeah.
know what. But at least what I've heard, there's so much content that like you don't have to do, but that's world building.
right.
So yes, that doesn't mean you're spending 60 hours reading, but what it does mean is if you want to spend 40 hours reading while you play, then that's there for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that I didn't have to be the guy that talks about trails in this podcast, but I'm glad
Well,
that
you
you
brought
did.
up Xenoblade, and so it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
pick your
terrible.
poison, man.
But 100% co-sign on that. And yes, the world building is, I will say, second to none. There's not another video game that does world building better than series. You can make critiques on different parts of the series. I have some critiques on it, but the world building is just so great.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's probably more chance of me jumping back into Death Stranding than jumping onto Xenoblade Chronicles or Trails of.
Oh
Just
man.
I don't
Hey,
know.
what are
I'd
the
rather-
chances of you jumping off a bridge?
Let's see. Somewhere along that scale.
Roasted.
Does bridge still mean bridge in Australian? Is that does that translate over?
No, it's something we use for connecting people. Yeah.
Yeah.
In communities.
Yeah.
There's a metaphor there.
Nice. Well, yeah. Speaking of Kojima, yeah.
Love to hear your passion, though, guys. Good passion for that series.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you say they're on their final arc, generally that's like 4-ish games per arc, right?
Probably 2 to 3.
Okay.
Cold Steel's the only one that went over 3 games.
Gotcha.
And it's the more Persona-esque one, so a lot of people started
Right.
there. Still a good starting point, but now that we got Trails in the Sky, first chapter, as like a modern playing and telling of the game, that's just where I'm going to recommend everyone start. I actually got my brother into it now. He actually went back and played the original this spring, and now I texted him when the demo was out, and he's like, "Oh, it's on Steam." He got it immediately. So
yeah. Nice. Sweet. So Porcho, this is where you should start. So
yeah,
free demo.
Cool. So if I
next,
just play the demo, that's it. So I've played it.
Next Backlog game. Just throwing it out
there.
there.
You go. Yeah. We'll all vote this one in.
We should probably start it now. So we'll be ready like next year. But man, I mean, it's saying one thing if the prologue of a game is 6 to 10 hours. Like, man, let's go. But yeah, I was asking you guys about it in the Discord. I think I was curious about Trails. I definitely heard about it, and the fact that you say that the world building is like phenomenal definitely piques my interest. Because that's one of the things I love about Takahashi's stuff with Xenoblade and all the Xeno games. Is I think he's one of the best in like getting you in that world.
The Xeno to Trails pipeline is real.
Xeno's the gateway drug. Then you get into Trails.
Yeah,
Nice,
I've seen it go both ways.
Yeah,
Sure,
there are
sure.
even
Once
some
Trails get to
Tolkien.
Xeno,
There's some Tolkien references in Trails as well. Like some of the locations and stuff like that are named after Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Areas.
These are games
characters.
made by nerds for nerds. So.
Nice.
No kidding, because even when the series was not big here in America, there were teams of people, of nerds, that were doing translations online, so that you could play it. Because I read into it because I'm like, what am I stepping my toes into when I played the first one? But it's been years, and I've owned Second Chapter for a long time, and I still haven't played it. I own a number of the games because I own the first 2 Cold Steel games on Vita. But I'm like, I have to go back to the first games in order to play these Vita games. And now it's been years. So, anyways, I need to get back into it. But maybe next year at this point, because I still have my locked and loaded list that I've been focusing on. And that is actually what I've been playing lately. I did end up finishing Star Ocean Second Story R. And I've talked about this on previous episodes, is that I kind of broke the game. I mean, it's like what the game totally allows you to do it. But I ended up being just like super high level because of some exploits, sort of exploits. ways that you can exploit the systems in the game. And so the game, I kind of mainlined it because I didn't have too much interest in going after extra characters, because there's a number of different characters you can recruit in the game, because my characters were already so overpowered. It's just like, yeah, let's go, let's go fight the big baddie. And so in some ways I probably played the game wrong for the way that a lot of people have played it, and kind of the story elements of getting these other characters that I just totally missed because I was strong enough to kind of take it down. I had a good time with the game. It is a good game. I'm kind of back and forth about the HD 2D thing that they do with this game, in that it's much more apparent than something like I love the way that Octopath Traveler looks, and apparently the Dragon Quest HD 2D as well. But this one is a little different. It does it a little different, where your characters just look extremely pixel, like the vintage kind of pixel look, where everything else does not look as pixel, and so it looks a little slightly out of place. There are times at which the game is beautiful, but I guess I just have a soft spot for Octopath Traveler. Anyways, I did end up finishing that game. So in terms of the beatdown for the year, that's -1 for me. That was on my locked and loaded list. So I was looking at other games on my locked and loaded list, and I'll try and make this long story short. There's a game called Slay the Spire that was on my list, and I was like, this sounds like fun. It's a roguelike card game. It should be a lot of fun. And so I go searching for the game, because I could have sworn that I owned this game. Turns out I didn't actually own the game. I was getting it confused with another game called Sundered, which is another one that I want to play eventually. But I had gotten that one in some sort of, they was giving it away on Epic or something. I don't know. So what I ended up doing was I had a free month of Game Pass Ultimate from when I bought my laptop last year that I've never used, but it was good for another, 6 months or whatever. And so I went ahead, because I'm like, I don't want to change my locked and loaded list because it was locked in, right? That's what you do at the start of the year. So I'm going to play Slay the Spire. So I got Game Pass, and now, oh, man, all these games have opened up the possibility of these games. But that's the long story behind it. I did play Slay the Spire. I will say I really like Slay the Spire. It kind of got its hooks in me, because of the way that I've never played card games, like card battler games, on the play modes where you get, like, you open random packs and make a deck out of random packs of cards. I've never done that. That doesn't really sound that much fun to me. But the way that this game works is you have kind of a basic deck of cards that you always start your run with, but then after you battle each enemy, you get to add a card, is basically how it goes. But it's kind of randomly generated. You pick from 3 randomly generated cards which one you want. So it kind of melds both the RNG-ness of that, while also still having kind of your basic set cards. And that was enough for me to really dig into the game, because it feels roguelite, whatever, in the same way that like Hades does, where not necessarily that you carry over a lot of stuff from previous runs, but that because of the RNG, you can kind of tailor your playthrough in certain ways. And so I've really enjoyed the game. There are 3 characters and a fourth. Anyways, okay, there's 4 characters you can get. I think the 4th is DLC. I could be wrong on that. Anyways, I unlocked 3 of them, and I've finished runs with the first 2. So really digging that. It does give you a credit roll after you finish a run. So I finished Slay the Spire, and so I'm taking a -1 as one of my flex picks, because you get 3 of those according to our rules for the beatdown this year, and because it's sort of like a borrowed game because it's on Game Pass. So I do get a -1 for that one, even though I didn't actually own the game when I thought that I did. Anyways, those are the games that I finish up. The games that I have been playing recently would be Ninja Gaiden 2, the original NES version, because that's on my locked and loaded list. So I've been playing that one on handheld, and that one's fun. And Halo 4 with my son. We've been digging into that, and that's been a lot of fun. And then just last night, because it was on Game Pass, I turned on Battletoads, this newer one, this animated one, not the original one. And then so I started playing that with my son, and then one of my daughters comes over, and she got interested and started playing with us. It's really stupid, but it's fun, and my son's been asking me all day to play some more of it, so I might play more of it. I don't know. It's just kind of, just turn it on and have fun. So that is what I have been playing, but we are here to talk about one specific game, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. And we will do that after a word from, I was going to say a word from our sponsors, but really it's a word from one of our friends. And you might recognize his accent as it plays now.
Sit down, shut up, and listen to this.
No, you can't make me. I hate sitting down. But what is this magic I'm hearing?
Huh? Never heard it, you say? That be nothing new under the porch. It sure is wacky, kind of life-changing, and hardly worth taking serious. I don't really know how to describe it. Wait, are you crying?
I call it beautiful.
You got that right, kid. Now you stand there and listen to the beautiful, wacky, and life-changing show on video games, satire, and theology, or I'm gonna keep on repeating myself and this ad won't end.
I'll never stop listening to it.
Okay, well, your call. Make sure to subscribe and whatever. My job is done. I'm out of here.
And we're back.
Hey, we're back, and we're also front. And that's a lame joke, but we're all dads here, so that is just part of what we do. Anyways, I heard that you like to eat some snakes. At least 3 of them. Anyways, Metal Gear Solid 3 is what we're talking about today. Snake Eater. I could try and sing the song, but I don't think it would have as much impact unless you actually... And if I was prepared, I would have brought a clip of the song so that you could hear it, because it is very unique to this game, as in it rips off 007 when you hear the female singer sing Snake Eater. That's fun. I don't know. So here's the thing, dear listeners, is that I have not played Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, but I have on friends that have played the game. So I'm very interested to hear.
You've listened to the song. That's all that matters.
I have. Snake Eater. Yes, I've heard the song, and it is glorious. It is very unique for a video game, is what it is, even if it's ripping off movies. So when we decided as a democracy that we are within our Discord of what game we were going to be playing as a book club, and we decided on Metal Gear Solid 3, I'm that special kind of loser that's like, well, I haven't played 2, and 2 is supposed to be really good, so I'm going to play 2. So that's the game that I played, and I've talked about that on the podcast. And 2 is not 3 for anyone counting at home. So I'm not going to have too much to add to this discussion, but I am very interested to hear what you guys have in this discussion, and how the lore, how Kojima's world building is added upon with this third game. So with all that being said, which you probably didn't need to listen to, let's talk about Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. So before we get to spoilers, because it's a Kojima game, so there's going to be spoilers, right? There's got to be some double crossings and triple crossings and all kinds of stuff. Let's talk about our past history with the game. I have none because I haven't played it, but I've heard it's really good. Okay, that's all I got. So, we can go in. Let's go in a new order, actually. Okay, according to my screen, what's on my screen right now. Justin, how about you start out? What history do you have with this game? Is this your first time playing it, or have you played it before? What have you heard about it?
Well, it all started in 1998.
Ah, good year.
Yeah, no, yeah, this was my first, actually, technically, second time playing it. I
Okay.
tried, so a couple years ago, I really wanted to get into the Metal Gear series, and I
Mhm.
tried playing one, and it just wasn't clicking. And then I go looking around, just like, oh, what's the best play order? And someone's like, oh, you gotta play it chronologically. You got to start with three, because technically that's the beginning of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I watched a movie. By that I mean I started the game, and then I got to the actual part where you actually get to play,
Okay.
and I'm like, oh, this also isn't clicking with me. And so I
Mm.
was like, maybe I'm just not in the right headspace. I'll try, next weekend play again. Never went back to it. Um, but yeah, Metal Gear has always like been like in the back of my mind, like this is something I will like and enjoy and I want to be into,
Mhm.
but I just hadn't like um sat down and played it.
Yeah.
And like the first Metal Gear was one of the first games I ever saw on PlayStation. I had older cousins that had it and were like invited me and my dad down to like check out, oh, this new PlayStation, you guys got to see this. I distinctly remember like them playing the opening of Metal Gear Solid, um, and like
Mhm.
that's always kind of stuck with me. And so this is really my excuse to like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna get through it, and talk with some guys about it. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
Mhm.
Sweet. Like that. All right. How about Solid Spike? Because I'm going to be referencing everyone by their handles from now on. So Solid Spike. What did you have coming into this game? Have you played it before? What are you?
Yeah, so super glad to be talking about the best Metal Gear ever. And
Mm.
my favorite parts of this game are just it's so awesome when Raiden gets the hi-fi sword
Mm.
and Raiden and Snake end up teaming up. Solid as Snake was just an amazing villain,
Stop it.
and we
Awkward. Wrong game, buddy. I'm just kidding.
no, I've if anybody knows me, I've made it no secret that the second
Yeah.
game is my preferred game out of the two, but I still like. I mean,
Okay.
the third's not bad. I haven't played it other than just a few hours. I got a decent ways in here recently with the HD uh, collection, but before that,
Yeah.
we owned it when I was a teenager, and between me and my brothers, we played through all of it, and it was
Oh,
pretty
okay.
enjoyable back then. But I personally, I don't know that I could say I have a full playthrough of it myself, but I've seen the entire story. I've watched videos and you know dug into the lore and all that kind of stuff, especially for the episode, and tried to pick apart as much as I could because I know that this is one of Nick's favorite games, and so
Mm.
uh, naturally gonna disagree on that. So yeah, ready to talk about it.
Okay. Sweet. Okay. That's an interesting perspective too. I think you're going to have a unique kind of view on everything. So that'll be cool.
Oh boy, do I.
All right, because I'm going with handles, I cost you. What did you have coming into this playthrough?
Yeah, so I guess my experience with the game is, yeah, I had a PS2 back in the day, and I picked up Metal Gear Solid 3 because pretty much just, judging a book by its cover, just checking out that cover art, and I was like, man, this
Mhm.
looks really cool. I've
Yeah.
always been a huge sucker for espionage, spy stuff, military, like those types of movies and things like that. Some of my favorite
Mm.
movies of all times have been like the Bourne movies, like Bourne
Okay.
Supremacy and like all
Yep.
those. So like that whole like just vibe is I'm all about it. So I'm a sucker for it. So this definitely plays into that. So I was definitely interested in it. I never made it super far back then. But what's funny is like when this came up and I knew I wanted to play it, I definitely remember like the end game, like the last fight. And we don't have to get into that yet. But like it's just so iconic, I remember it. So I don't know if like maybe I did make it that far, but but now having played through it, I'm like I definitely like the middle part I definitely never did. So I don't know what happened. Um but yeah, anyway, I think yeah, so that's kind of like my background with the game. So this is my first time
Sweet.
playing it all the way through for this episode. Before that, I played Metal Gear Solid 4 way back in the day. At least started it. I didn't finish it either. But I've always just it's funny because I've always thought like Kojima's games are like you're playing a movie in some ways.
Right.
Like they're just so, I mean, he kind of like makes them that way and he's a fan of movies, so it makes sense. But yeah, like, and that's never really bothered me. I guess it's like the Kojima part of it where there's just something about it that just makes you like want to keep going. And it's not like, because sometimes that can be like a negative aspect to a game where there's too much,
Sure.
cutscene or whatever. But it never bothered me. It's something about his. So after that initial experience with 3 and 4, I've always had Metal Gear in the back of my mind. But then the past couple years, I was like, I'm just going to start from the beginning. So I played 1, and then I played 2 like last year, I think, or 2 years ago. And then 3 was this year. So I did play them in that order. And I think that order is great. I know some people say you should play 3 first and then 1 and 2. I really enjoyed playing 1, 2, and 3 because you can tell Kojima kind of like built off of each game in terms of like how he made it and things like that. So I think 3 is kind of like the pinnacle, I guess, gameplay wise in terms of what he was trying to get at with 1 and 2.
Okay.
So I kind of think like, they build on each other in that way. But I honestly, yeah.
So if I could interject for a second, having played 3 first and then went back and played 1, I think 1, 2, 3 is the correct order.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
So I'm just gonna agree with you there. They build.
Yep. Yeah, I think so, man. Yeah, and yeah, I think even like story wise, like they just kind of like get more in depth and more, I guess, wacky too. The Kojima wackiness increases.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
But yeah. So, but yeah, I think like all 3 of them hold up. I played 3 with the Switch collection. I grabbed that, so that's how I played it, and it was fine. Great experience. No issues there. But yeah, they're just super unique games. And it's such an interesting intersection of like realism and then just like off the wall, what in the world's happening right now type stuff,
Okay.
And it's
okay.
very, and I think all 3 of them have that. But yeah, there's something intriguing about it, and yeah, can't get enough of it, I'd say.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's good to hear. And that, well, we can swing back around to that question that I have because I felt like 2 was definitely more wacky than the first one. I played the first one years ago. It has some of that at the very end of the game, I felt like, but it also that kind of fit more with the kind of big budget action movie that the first one was.
Yeah,
I felt at least to me. Anyways, so
yeah.
3 does have that though.
Yeah, a little bit. I guess like some characters can be a bit that way. I think 2's story is definitely more. I don't know. Like 3 seems a bit more straightforward, I would say.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Compared to 2, but there's definitely some interesting moments for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Naked Porch Snake. What say you? Now you've already had an entire episode of Nothing New Under the Porch, which, yeah, in case anyone hasn't heard, you should go.
Nothing new under the porch?
Nothing. Nothing new under the porch?
Yeah. I did. Yeah, I had a few thoughts on there, so I could repeat myself a bit, but who cares?
I could just play the whole episode right now.
Yeah.
That would be
For
fun.
all I know, he could be the only one that listens to my podcast here. So, and out of your whole audience, Josh could be my only fan. That'd be funny.
Phrasing.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's good to have my number one fan on the episode. So,
there
anyway, yes, Metal Gear Solid 3 is a great game. It's number one on my hottest 100 games list. And I started off with my journey with this game back when I was 14. So it came out in Australia in early 2005. And with the official PlayStation magazine that I got that edition of Metal Gear Solid came with a demo, and I played that, and I'd never ever played a game with such a cutscene, which is the intro. I'm pretty sure the demo came with the whole Virtuous mission, which is beefy for a demo, and plus all the cutscenes that come with it. And I was like amazed by it because it's like, for the reasons that this is a cool spy flick / game.
Yep.
The gameplay didn't get me to start with just because the controls were so weird and I didn't know exactly how to do things properly just because of the combination of buttons to be able to do actions and whatnot. But I fumbled my way through it and I obviously liked it and rented the game out quite a lot and finished it multiple times and borrowed it off a friend and played it even more for a longer amount of time for free. And I played it, just mostly on the PS2 and loved it. Got the HD, PS3 HD one when that came out, and recently played it on Steam a bit this year. So easily probably finished it over 10 times. That was my starting point for the Metal Gear Solid games, number 3, which
Okay.
Then after that I went to 2 and 4 and the PSP games, including Metal Gear Acid 2, which has nothing to do with anything really. But I've never played Metal Gear Solid 1. I've just watched a playthrough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Is there any particular reason for that? You just never...
I did try
interested?
it.
Okay.
And didn't... Yeah, because I bought it online on the PS4 maybe. I just didn't really like it, probably because of the age of it, I guess.
Yep.
It's very dated.
Yeah, which made it, a turn off. But I still like the story, so I think... Like playing Metal Gear Solid 4, I really wanted to play Metal Gear Solid 1 just because of the throwbacks, because you go to Shadow Moses Island in that one.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just easier watching someone else do it.
Nice. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, but that's cool how this one, at least it captured you,
most of my Metal Gear experience was through my teenage years. So a lot of, I think we mentioned off recording time that like a lot of it would have just gone over my head just because of my age really,
sure.
So but still loved it anyway.
Nice.
Snake,
nice.
He's just a good role model.
It's how I picked up smoking, right?
Yeah.
So that gives us a good kind of starting place, is that history with the game itself. Now I'm curious, especially if you played through it or even just starting it again, what your impressions are of the game today and how has that, like, maybe that's evolved and changed, or maybe no, it's still just as good today as it was then. Like, what are your just overall impressions, especially with this latest playthrough? And we'll go in the same order here, Justin.
Okay. So So initial impressions of the game. I guess I'll start with kind of the bad first.
Okay.
One, intro cutscene's very long.
Okay.
You've just basically 30, 45-minute movie, tons of backstory, tons of exposition dump, which as someone who primarily plays Japanese role playing games, I'm pretty fine with that.
Right. Yep.
I didn't feel like the game really explained to me how to play it. I think that
Okay.
that's initially what really turned me off the first time I tried it a couple of years back.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, okay, I have these items. How do I use them? Oh, I'm walking in this swamp water. Oh, I'm dead. Um, oh, there's an alligator. Or a crocodile. It's chomping on me. Like I didn't really get how to fight back. Being a PS2 game, by today's standards, a 20-year-old game, bit dated. There's a reason why. Well, the game is iconic, and there's a reason why
Right.
we are getting Delta next week. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's to modernize it, bring it forward, kind of revitalize Metal Gear in a way. So yeah, my initial impressions were that it was hard to get into.
Okay.
But that being said, and like I finished the game, I really don't feel like I even understand how what is it, QCQ, close quarter combat. I don't even entirely understand how that all works still.
CQC.
CQC, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, CQC. Because like I'm going through like the final part of the last mission, and like I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like all of a sudden I'm doing moves that I didn't know I knew how to do. Um, like I distinctly remember one part where it's like I took out a guy in a certain way. I was like, how did I even do that? I like so and like in the beginning of the mission, like the boss, the one who teaches Snake everything, she's telling him like, remember your CQC training, and like you get nothing beyond that. She just tells you to remember it, and like that's where I was saying before, like um, to agree with Acosta, um, like starting with 1, 2, 3, because like after playing 1, I felt like I understood things a little better, and then in playing 2, I felt very comfortable. Like I said, I've only played the opening mission of 2, but I felt a lot more comfortable playing that after playing 3, 1, and then getting into 2. So I think by building 1, 2, 3, you get the best experience. Now for poor Joe here, like you started with 3, and that's what really hooked you. And it did hook me as well. I really like felt like I should go watch a James Bond movie after I finished playing this, or a couple of
Mhm.
James Bond movies. So, yeah, I think that would be my opening impressions of the game there.
From memory, in the PS2 manual, it had how to do certain CQC moves with the joystick and the circle button.
Right, and you know what I should have done? I should have just gone right over here and grabbed
Try and
this.
how about
Oh
you
wait,
verify that for me, Snopes? Oh, you haven't got a manual?
No manual.
yeah, I have no manual for my Metal Gear Solid
Otherwise,
3.
you definitely would have known going into it.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have been smart enough to do that.
And it is funny because that brings me back of those days when I would kind of pour over the game manual before you even start the game, which is totally foreign nowadays because everything is tutorialized, which again, for better and worse. What was that?
And the fact that you didn't always have the amount of TV time you wanted. So if you weren't playing
Right.
it, you'd be looking at the manual because you're like obsessed with it.
Yeah, so true. And that's a great point, because I felt that with Metal Gear Solid 2 that I didn't know how to play for the first few what felt like few missions or few levels there, although it's heavily carried over from the first game and it had just been years. So it's like if you play them back to back, if you're really familiar with the first game, the second game feels super familiar as well. So it's interesting that you say that about the third game, although it sounds like it's alleviated by the manual or by other things that you can do. But it was a bit disorienting to me for the second game in 2025 with so much space between since when I played the first game. So, Okay, Solid Spike. How about you? What impressions do you have this playthrough going through?
Yeah. I guess before we get into spoilers, just
Yeah.
touch on gameplay a little bit. Um, the overall gameplay, it's very similar to just the classic Metal Gear. You're sneaking around, you're trying not
Okay.
to get seen, and uh, that's I enjoy that. That's the fun part. I still, I like that at this time around. Um, this stage in my life, though, for whatever reason, I find myself wanting to be a completionist when I'm doing this because I want to get the full experience, right? And so, like,
Okay.
playing through, I had the same problem with Dishonored. So,
Mm.
Isaac Sojourner, if you're listening, don't at me. But the playing through, I have this drive to I want to be able to see everything there is to see. So in this game, right, just like a lot of the other ones, you get bonuses based on if you get spotted or you can get a better rank. So
Yeah.
I find myself like almost save scumming, right, because I get caught. I'm like, oh great, now I got to restart the game just to
Yep.
make sure that I get to see everything that there is to see. And so that was one thing. The controls also this time around. I have it on PC, and I could rig up, one of my PS5 controllers or something like that. But I started out just seeing how a keyboard and mouse works, and by the way, that's just awful in this version of the game. There's like aiming is just awful. But
Hmm.
I tried using I had some Joy Cons close by, so I hooked my Joy Cons up via Bluetooth to my computer. Tried with that a little bit, and the aiming was still like, man, this is just really clunky. So I don't know if it was just a
Hmm.
problem with my controller or what, but um, so I ran into a few frustrations this time around. So I just kind of took an easy way out and did a recap, watching some YouTube videos this time around. But
Yeah.
I still enjoyed for the most part the gameplay. Um, not to completely harp on this because I feel like I'm just completely harping on the game, but uh, the addition of the camo, the menus to where you select your camo based on where you're at, and then when you get an injury in this game, you have to actually go to the menu and like you have to put a splint in or whatever else to fix whatever injury you have.
Hmm.
The first iteration of doing that, it's like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. It's like, hey, I'm in this, kind of red woody area. I should probably put the red camo on, and then you have to hit your menu. It's like you pick the red camo, the closest one to it. You're like, oh, this is really cool. Then you do that a few more times. It's like, oh, back in the, the brown area. Now I got to put my brown clothes on, and so it's like, after a while, it was like it's a cool gimmick, but I just kind of got a little tired of it. But
Imagine how annoying that would be in real life.
right, yeah, I'm just picturing every time you go to a new area, Snake's like going behind a tree and changing his clothes, and some guard sees him, and the little thing pops up above his head, and he's halfway changed.
Yeah, hopping in his legs trying to get it up.
Yeah, that's the part you don't see when you're paused. But yeah,
Oh,
I think really that's all I can really hit on without getting into this story. I will say
okay.
as a plus, when you kill a boss, they explode. That's all I'm gonna say because that's pretty cool.
Hey,
I don't know why.
nice.
For some reason, every time you kill one of the bosses, they seem to explode.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's kind of like Scott Pilgrim or something, just explode into coins. Except you don't get coins this time. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I'd guess nano machines, but I don't know anything because I haven't played the game. Anyways, yeah, no, that's good. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, both in just how old the game is, but also with the kind of meticulous detail on and unique nature of Kojima games. I'll put it that way. So, for better and for worse. So, Ikasha, how about you? What are some of the impressions you have playing through this now?
Yeah, I think like like the age of the game maybe shows in some areas, kind of what the other guys are saying, and with the controls in particular, so starting with like some of the negatives, like even playing on Switch, it's fine, but there's definitely some fights where it's like infuriating because like you literally because you can't move and aim right at the same time. You have to like if you do like first person, you're like you stop moving, so you got to aim, and then you got to move around if they're like if they move, and that like back and forth is like super. It's pretty tough. Now I will say I think the bosses are designed in a way to where it's not like impossible. Like obviously like
Yeah.
finish the game, so but yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, I guess, especially with games that we have nowadays and the control schemes we're used to, especially for like shooters or third person shooters. It's like that's kind of what it could be,
Yeah.
and it's not. So I am curious, kind of like with Delta, how much they're going to change that. I assume they will a lot, but that'd be something to look at. Um, but yeah, I think like I really enjoyed the game overall, and even from the beginning to the end I thought it was great. I think I didn't mind, again, like the cutscenes too much. Like it didn't really like bother me, like that one that we were talking about earlier off camera, like with two, where it was a bit heavy on like the exposition at the end. I mean, there were like portions of that for this game, but I don't know. I guess like there's so much action and there's so much happening, and it's just this is what I loved about the first game, where in the first game I just loved the pacing, and I loved how it's like it's like that feeling when you're reading a book that you love and you just can't put it down. You just want to keep reading it. I felt that way with the first game, where like
Nice.
every time I picked it up, I was like, I feel like I'm making like great progress. I want to know more. Like it's just boom, boom, boom. And I really love how I mean, Kojima literally directs it like a good movie, and I think this game is no exception. Really, I think it's fantastic
Sweet.
in that regard. Um, and yeah, and yes, like Kojima's so funny because even with what Spike was saying with like changing clothes and stuff, he has like so much intentionality with the realistic details of his games. But then there's
Right.
other elements that are just like, but it's like not real. Like he like with changing the clothes, it's like, yeah, that's cool that like these clothes are so particular, or like even healing yourself. But it's like I'm in the middle of this fight and there's like four people around me shooting at me, and I'm like, pause, let me like fix my gunshot real quick. Okay, I'm good. Let's keep going. It's just like it's funny. It's kind of ironic. It's like just different elements like that. It's like you could call it a realistic game, but at the same time, it's just kind of funny how it plays out, and it's just like, no, this is definitely still a game.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I think like going
Nice.
into it with like knowing it's a Kojima game, I think helps, if you're used to
Sure.
kind of like knowing what to expect. I feel like if you went into it pretty cold and not knowing that, you could definitely be maybe turned off, or like, I don't really know what's going on, or this is a bit off. Um, but yeah, again, playing through 1, 2, and then 3, I think that helped a lot of the experience. Even
Yeah.
with the controls and how the game works, I pretty much knew what to expect going into 3, and I think that helped. There wasn't a ton of like, I feel like I need a lot of tutorial or whatever. I kind of knew, what to expect. So,
Okay.
so again, yeah, being used to the other ones, I think helps. So, but yeah, great impressions overall. Even like, I still think it holds up. It's a super
Cool.
fun game to play. I know sometimes older games can be like, it's dated and a bit stale, but I definitely don't think this one is. I think it definitely
Sweet.
holds up, and there's a reason why it's one of the best games of all time. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I assume that Porcho, you will have similar sentiments since you've played it through so many. But is there anything with this playthrough? I mean, obviously, you can give your impressions overall of the game. I'm curious if, in addition to that, if anything's kind of stuck out at you with this last playthrough as well.
Well, it'd probably been a bigger break than usual because I used to play
Okay.
it fairly annually, except it's
Okay.
been a while this time. And yeah, I played it on Steam Deck this time, which was cool as I'd never played it handheld before.
Mm-hmm.
And felt like that's kind of the best way to play it, because
Oh wow.
you can just put it to sleep and come back to it. You don't have to turn off the game and save it. You can pretty well just play it through without saving if you're that way inclined. Otherwise, you can save it and listen to Paramedic talk about a movie. And I mean, that's the joy of saving in it too. It's just you get to get trivia about some movie from the 60s or just any of your calls. You can just find something out about a weapon from SIGINT. Yeah, I like all the extra information. It's like an encyclopedia in a way sometimes for info of that time. So this time on Steam Deck, it was nice to have that portability. And one critique I would have about playing it on Steam Deck is with the PlayStation controller, and well, especially it was something that was implemented with the PS2 one, is the weight in which you press down a button. So like when you slowly release square on the PlayStation controller, he would slowly take his finger off the trigger, and so you wouldn't shoot. Whereas that doesn't happen with the Steam Deck. So my way around with that was just to unequip and re-equip the weapon so that it wouldn't shoot, because otherwise you're giving yourself away if you've got like a noisy gun out and you decide not to shoot anymore. But apart from that, playing on Steam Deck was great. I think it made it look better too, even probably because it was smaller screen. So and it was OLED, so that helped. But everything I liked about the game, I still liked, and there weren't no grievances, like no gripes. I did two playthroughs this year just to just to enjoy it more. So I did a normal sort of playthrough, took my time with the cutscenes and soaked it all up. And the second playthrough was just a big violent playthrough where I just went renegade Rambo sort of style.
Nice. That's a movie, isn't it?
Yeah, based on Snake. So both playthroughs were quite enjoyable. Even though I was just being silly playing it the way it wasn't meant to be played in the second one. But who knows? Maybe Kojima actually wanted people to play it that way. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given us the option.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to tell. You know, it's just so subtle.
So good times.
Cool. Awesome. Well, now that we've talked our overall impressions of the game, these playthroughs, our backstory, all that stuff, there's plenty more to this game. But in order to get there, we have to throw out the spoiler tag. Let's talk about whatever we want to talk about with this game. Before we do, just a reference to anyone out there who hasn't played this game yet, which includes myself, but I don't care. I'm going to get it spoiled because this section is spoiler section. That's right. You heard the, barbershop quartet? I don't know what that was. Anyways, they said spoilers. We're spoiling the game. So at this point, because I don't already know the spoilers, I'm going to open it up for whoever wants to, whatever has been at the tip of your tongue that you wanted to talk about. Feel free to jump in, because I'm all ears. What did you like? What did you dislike? What? I mean, it sounds like we're overall positive on the game, so I'd love to hear more about what is a Metal Gear Solid 3. What stands out to you?
Okay, Eva's a double agent, Ocelot's a triple agent, and Boss, poor Boss.
Well, okay, but we knew Ocelot was a triple agent from previous game. I mean, like, what even? He has a minor part in the first game, but it's still, I believe it's hinted at, because I think you even know at the end of the first game that he got out. Anyways, second game, he's all over the place.
I actually, to talk about that, Ocelot was my favorite character in this game.
Okay.
His meow that he does cracked me up every time.
Oh man.
And then yeah. So going from this game to 1, I was like, oh, the end call is a callback to the first game. Because at the end of the game, Ocelot's on a phone call, and that's when he kind of get the reveal that he's the triple agent. He's playing 3 sides. He's playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing 3D chess. And then I get to the end of the first game, and it's the same call, basically with Ocelot at the end of the first game. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And like I when he reveals his name to Snake at the end, that's when I was like, oh, you were supposed to meet up with Adam, and he's is it Adamaska or something?
Yeah, at
Yeah.
Damascus.
I was like, oh, Adam, that's interesting. And then he reveals, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So
Yeah, I would
that's
have
like a
liked.
big spoiler of the game.
I'd love it if there was another version of the game where you get to go where you meet Adam instead of Eva at Seleniask. I think that's
Mm,
what it is, Seleniask. It's like just to have this alternate story.
yeah, that
Mm.
wouldn't that like completely redefine the entire structure of the
Yeah,
game? It
it'd
would
be a
be a
lot of
completely
work.
different game.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Snake
You'd
would probably just have to come along with the Cobra unit and
Yeah, you're not saying like dressed as Eva on the motorcycle and everything, right? Because that's just a little weird.
I mean, it's Kojima.
Yeah, he'd probably
Don't go
do it.
giving him ideas. He might do that.
Well, it sounds like you wish that there was like a version of the game that changed some things, like a delta to this game. Were to come out. Yeah.
Yeah, Ocelot is confused. I don't even think Ocelot knows whose team he's on. He probably forgot.
He's flip side so many times.
it'd be great if there was an Ocelot origin story, just so then we could
Mm.
get our heads around who's he meant to be with. Like,
Yeah.
just the philosophers. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
What is the philosopher's legacy?
Philosopher's legacy.
Yeah, I think I like the way Ocelot's character is too. After many playthroughs, he's still one of my favorites too, just because the way he pretty well orchestrates everything, and
Yeah.
you just don't really realize that because he just seems like such a stupid rookie because of the way Snake makes him look on the battlefield, and it's like this guy's got no idea, but really he's playing Snake.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Getting to that first part, like where Ocelot and his team get the drop on you. That I think that's where like the game really started to hook me in, and I was like, okay, all right, this is. I'm starting to feel this a bit more. That and just the 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 team at the end of the virtuous mission, just dropping it and just being insane.
Yeah.
Just like this, what's up with this guy with the bees? What's going on with that?
Yeah. And it's just like, oh wow, Snake is stuffed. Like he's
Yeah.
got all these awesome guys against him, and
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
beaten up by a
you're just a
girl.
normal guy, and like I've played a very small amount of 2, but after playing 1, 1 is like based in it's supposed to be like more modern, like early 2000s, like near future for the time it was released.
Mhm.
And the villains, the bad guys feel more grounded than this
Mhm.
game set in the 60s. Like all these villains are like far out. You fight a ghost basically at one point. It's just it's a very out there game, and I did watch like some videos on it afterwards, and like I forget which video I was watching, but the guy pointed out, he's just like, oh yeah, like the ties to like the 60s spy film and James Bond and all this stuff. It's just like he's pointing out how ridiculous all the things in those movies are, or movies and books and all that. Like
Okay.
you got these guys in James Bond movies, like the Bond villain, right? And how like they're megalomaniacs, and I remember The World Is Not Enough, like the laser going through the ice palace or whatever. and like you're watching those movies and you don't think like that's that out there, but like really like this is some insane stuff happening. And like just Kojima playing in that sandbox the way he does with this game, like that's where the game really started to hook me. More so in the out there,
Okay.
zany, like mixing of fact and fiction as well. Like,
Yeah,
like
by
take,
giving them backstory.
right, and like taking like this real time period, these real things that were happening, um, Cold War, missile crisis, all this kind of stuff, and just like throwing, yeah, what if this guy was just stuffed full of bees and fought you in an underground river and blew up at the end of the fight?
Yeah. I'd like to see how the Cobra unit helped end World War II as well, because that's like his
Yeah,
twist on the history of that.
yeah,
Yeah, the boss and her boys.
yeah.
So I'm
Um,
curious, just based on my experience with the second game, of that zaniness was so odd to me because I felt like the second game had a very serious message that it was trying to tackle. Does the third game also have a serious does it feel like Kojima is presenting something, some profound piece of wisdom that he's trying to share along with all these zany elements? Because that's honestly like what I hear about the third game is that the mechanics are the best of the series up to that point. I've heard that about the fifth game as well. But anyways, but I don't know much in terms of story outside of just it's fleshing out some backstory. Does it feel like Kojima's trying to make a statement with this game? I'm curious.
I've always felt honor wise is a big thing for him in this one.
Yeah.
To do with the boss and the fact that she knows that she's going to be looked down in history as this total villain that just wanted to apparently destroy everything, ruin America, and then on the Russian side, she's not looked on as a good person either. But she just went down with the ship anyway because of following through with the mission and then reinstating that to Snake that even though he doesn't want to kill her, that to be honorable and following through the mission, he's going to have to obey the order and do it anyway. And
Okay.
he would be put on a pedestal as being this hero when deep down himself, he knew that she was the hero for her sacrifice and just being honorable. Except, yeah, I think, I don't know, it feels like he just wants to put a sweet little story in there about honor and this relationship of these two people who are so intimate but can't express the intimacy, and I don't know, it's just
Yeah,
well, I
it's
feel like they express their intimacy in a way. That last
yeah,
fight is pretty brutal.
yeah,
yeah, it's
especially in the way she talks to him. Yeah,
I think that's one of the things that I would definitely give this game props for is the characters, and it's one of the things I kind of have to knock it for, and I'll get to that in a second. But
Okay.
That was one of the issues that I had with this game versus the other ones is I didn't feel like there was Kojima's known for being this meta guy, right? Like if there's
Right.
one word that you'd use to describe his games, it's usually meta, right? I mean, he based his main character of his game off of a guy from another movie.
Yeah.
So, but that's not to say there aren't. The characters themselves in this game are great. I liked how almost all the characters were. The boss, the way she acts. I think to sum up my thoughts on all the characters is, the I think that is the overall point to this game is, hey, look at these different characters, look at this story, rather than having this overarching theme, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
And like kind of like Porcho said, is it was more about the honor between these characters. The thing about the story that got me though, right? I said some of the characters are good and some of them not so good. I loved Snake, loved the boss, Ocelot, Eva, all of them well done. then you get to Volgan. Man, I can't get past Volgan. This part of the game is probably where I have to knock the game the most. And
It's just a
again,
wild card.
well, yeah. So to sum up the problem, it's the nuke problem. And Josh, I know you haven't played it, so just to kind of give a quick rundown. The first
Actually, Davy Crockett.
Wait, what?
Davy Crockett nuke.
Oh yes, that's right.
Come on, got to use the right
Sorry
terminology here.
Right. So basically what the gist of it is, in the prologue of the game, the virtuous mission, right, the first however many hours that you get just to kind of get your feet wet in the game, Snake runs into his former mentor and she's defecting from the US and he's like, what's going on, this is crazy. She literally hands this villain character, Colonel Volgan, she hands him a nuke. Now the big twist at the end of the game, this is the big twist, is that this whole time that was the plan, was for her as a US agent, right, to infiltrate and basically find out. They're looking for the Philosopher's Legacy. It's been a while since I played it, but that's basically what the CIA wants from this Volgan guy. I can't remember exactly what it was. He was something of, lots of money or something like that. Something of a lot of value.
I think like all the wealth accumulated from World War II.
Right. I think you're right. And so to find this, the U.S. sends the boss, but she has to get in with this evil Volgan guy. So what she do to convince him? They give him a nuke. That's what he wants. And he actually ends up firing it off. They don't suspect that he's going to do that, right? But long story short, at the end of the game, you find out it was all part of the plan. But I can't help but sit there and think, okay, we're the CIA, right? We're sitting in the room planning this mission. We're like, okay, we got to find this Philosopher's Legacy, right? Okay, how are we going to do that? Okay, we need to get in with Volgan. He wants a nuke. So I want to know who that guy was that was like, I have this idea, this crazy sadistic guy. What if we gave him a nuke? And they actually give him a real nuke. And he actually uses it. And I can't get past that. I was like, why would you actually give this guy a nuke?
So he's even more insane. Uses it on his own countrymen.
Right. It would make more sense to me if like he used it, on like a political rival or something like that. But he's just crazy, and he's like, I'm just going to hit the button, and he just nukes, like you said, part of his home country. And so it was really hard to get past that point. And I came up with, trying to figure out how do we resolve this issue, right? I actually found out. I have an inside with Konami, and I actually found out it was actually a typo the whole time in the script. Now, I don't know exactly what it is. There's a few rumors on what exactly the typo was, because this just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that they would write that into the story. So there's speculation that, maybe originally Kojima wrote it one way. They saw the script and they're like, okay, we just got to write it. He says he wants a nuke. We got to give him a nuke. One of the rumors is that he didn't actually say he wanted a nuke. He said he wanted a Nike. See, I and you are really close on the keyboard. So he said he wanted a pair of Nikes. And that makes so much more sense. Obviously they would give him the Nikes. Hey, it's going to tell us where this is, this Philosopher's Legacy. And we just got to give him some shoes. The other theory is that they didn't actually want the Philosopher's Legacy. They wanted the Philosopher's Lego set, which is also very valuable as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, Shagohod, it was most likely supposed to be Shaggy Dog. He just wanted a little puppy, is all it was.
Gotcha.
So all of those make way more sense than just actually handing a madman a nuclear bomb in hopes that he doesn't use it, thinking, you know what, we'll be sneaky. We'll give him a bomb and he won't actually. It doesn't make sense to me.
Now, if I can interject for a second
Sure.
and don my tinfoil hat,
Okay.
Giving the Russians, especially a crazy megalomaniacal, if I'm making up a word there,
Maniacal.
to give
Yes.
Volgin a nuke, I think that's pretty lore accurate to the CIA in the 60s. So
Hmm.
that's my conspiracy theory rant for the episode and donning a tinfoil hat. So
Interesting take.
yep.
My theory is that all of this was explained in the manual. But yeah.
along
So-
with everything else.
Probably the Japanese manual though, so before the translation to English when it got all confused.
So Josh, I kind of want to go back to what you're asking about. Like, I guess, does this game have a message, right?
Yeah.
I think like it seems pretty clear that one of the big things the game was getting at, especially at the end, was just like the idea of loyalty and like how far that should go. So in the sense
Okay.
of, especially with like in regards to the military. So I think Kojima like brings up a really interesting point where like, you know, like the boss and Big Boss were like, you know, the ideal soldier is the one that isn't going to ask questions. They're just going to do what they're told. And I think like Big Boss, or sorry, it gets confusing. Um, Boss was like the ideal soldier, and she, wanted to go like, to obey her orders all the way through. And then she was trying to tell Snake to do the same thing. And then you see the conflict in Snake, right? Where he has like pretty much his only, like his mentor, he sees her as like a motherly figure, and he's being told, to kill her for the sake of the mission. And you kind of are left with this like bittersweet feeling, not really, just kind of like a conflict even at the end. Like you see Snake at the end, he's obviously mourning the loss that she's dead and that he killed her, and it's almost like you can feel him wondering, was that the right thing?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a question, because especially when you have the leaders giving the order, corrupt leaders giving orders, it doesn't make the orders right, right? I think that's kind of like what you get to is like you understand, you start getting like sneak peeks at the end of some of like the higher leaders being, involved in some of these pretty questionable matters. And I think that's when, you start having those questions, and Kojima's trying to put those questions in your head of like, you know, is doing what you're told always the right thing to do? Um, should loyalty be taken all the way to the end, no matter what? Or is it worth like kind of questioning, like, where is this, command coming from? Is
Sure.
this like the right thing to do type thing? So it's very interesting, especially in like the military context too, right? Because that's obviously what they're about. But there's an element in the game as well where I think it's in one of like the cutscenes where Boss is basically saying enemies change throughout time and throughout history. So like her example was like the alliance between Russia and the US in World War II was like more of an alliance. Like they're both against Germany. But then like later on in the Cold War they became enemies. And that really changed, just from what was going on in the world. And I guess like with the philosopher's legacy part, it was even just like financial gain as well as changing those things in like the world theater. But her point was like, you can't really like be loyal to like one country or one group forever, because then, if you're in an alliance with, whatever country, that could change like down the road. So then your perception of reality kind of change. Like, who can I really be in an alliance with? Who can I really call, can be like on my side, if that's just going to change like down the road? And those questions are interesting questions, I think. And it definitely makes you think. Um, and it's one of the best things I think about Kojima's games. And, this game definitely had that element to it. But yeah, I think like one of those big messages was just kind of like, especially in the military you know, context, you know, is following orders like always the right thing, I guess, is kind
Yeah.
of what he was bringing up.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because that's one of the main, I guess you could say, main themes that I found from not only this game but all of the games is, but coming
Yeah.
into this game especially because up until this point, right, Big Boss, you know, this is going back to before Metal Gear Solid, to the two games before it. You had
Right.
this idea of Big Boss in the MSX, Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear 2.
Mm.
Who is this, you know, he was the villain, right? He was the bad guy. You knew that because you were the good guy, right? That's how it works. Um, Going into this game, everybody was waiting for the, I guess, the Darth Vader moment, right? Okay, let's see how Anakin
Mm.
gets to become Darth Vader. Let's see what turns him into a bad guy. And it's almost like, to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying just now, Michael, is the idea of him saying, "Hold on, put the brakes on for just a second, and really think who's the villain and who's the, you know, the protagonist, and are those so easily defined in this story, right? I mean, you know, in this it's not so black and white in this one,
Yeah.
in this the entire saga of Metal Gear Solid, because you get to this game and then you play through it and you see after Snake, you know, comes to the realization of what's going on, you know, he finds out, okay, it was all, you know, just basically this charade, and the boss was going along with it because she knew she had to die so that the optics of of her being the one that handed off the nuke and it went off, and the US is, you know, looking like they basically set off a nuke somewhere. They needed that scapegoat, and she said, okay, I'll do it. You know, you see that turmoil at the end when I think Eva is basically, she's talking over whatever's happening, and he's getting his medal, and you know, there's the famous scene where, you know, you can, in a lot of the cutscenes in a lot of the games, you can hit one of the buttons and see first person, and then you can switch to Snake's view, right, and you can see the tears welling up, and that's the, you know, the classic scene from that game where, you know, he's becoming Big Boss, and you're like expecting this great moment where, you know, he's okay, I'm going to start twiddling my mustache and I'm going to be this bad guy, and it doesn't quite happen like that, right?
Mm.
He's You see why he became the way he was, why he was so against, uh, you know, why he became somebody that was so against these, you know, government forces because of what they did to the boss. And then so that makes sense of, you know, him starting Outer Heaven and the Diamond Dogs and everything after that. um I like that it's not so cut and dry to where it's like, yeah, this is my heel turn, this is my bad guy moment. In his mind, right, he thinks he's the good guy, and that's how real bad guys are. No bad guy really thinks they're the bad guy. They think they're the good guy. And there's obviously nuance to that. Like, you know, you can decide, okay, were his actions justified? Are they not? But again, everybody thinks they're the good guy. And I think that if there's a takeaway, maybe that's the takeaway, right? Is um, everybody thinks they're the good guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like it was born out of just like a disillusionment with, I don't know, authority in general. I mean, it sounds like, you know,
Well,
just recognizing that there's more behind why decisions are made, I guess.
I think also the disposableness
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
that comes with being a soldier, um, and just like seeing that and how the government, remember, the boss, Snake, they're heroes. Like, they helped bring down World War II. They have done all these great things, and then, okay, here's your next mission. You're gonna defect. You're gonna bring a nuke to the Russians, and we're gonna pin and blame this whole thing on you, and we're gonna kill you at the end, and you're gonna go down in history as a villain, even though you are highly decorated, one of the best soldiers we've ever had. Um, like, that's the story of the boss, and like I think that's ultimately what turns him into Big Boss, as we know him later as the villain, because he sees the disposableness, and he really just wants to set something up to protect his people, and that's why he goes through and makes Foxhound and Outer Heaven and all these things in later games that we see. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, and it's such a flip because it's like the whole game you think of like Volgan and like that whole agenda is like the bad guy, and then at the end after
Mm-hmm.
the boss dies, it's like these guys are super bad who like just made this call for this super faithful loyal soldier and just said, no, you're gonna go out, we're gonna kill you because we want to cover our tracks and make sure we can keep doing what we want to do.
Right.
And she did it because she's loyal and she's a good soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, Snake being forced to do that, like, yeah, again, like what you guys are saying, like that's going to change his trajectory moving forward. And that's,
And
you know, yeah, go ahead.
and the boss knows this. The boss knows like this is what has to happen for the wheels to keep turning.
Yeah, I mean, she
I'm
says,
go ahead.
sorry, yeah, just to throw in the quote when she is dying, well, before she dies, one must die and one must live. No victory, no defeat. The survivor will carry on the fight. It is our destiny. Like, she
Yeah,
lays it out for him.
right. And then Snake slash Big Boss, he walks away from this being like, there's got to be something different. There has to be a different way. And I can't remember if we touched on this um, on air or off air, but the watching of Escape from New York. Um, when I like to spoil the end of that movie, very, very similar themes of like in the movie, dystopian future, gotta go rescue the president. They send this highly decorated soldier who's kind of defected already. They send him in to save the president. People die, people get hurt, they get the president out, and Snake goes to give the president the information he needs to stop World War III from essentially happening, or World War IV, I can't remember. And he's like, the president, after going through this harrowing ordeal, is just like, oh yeah, thanks for helping. And Snake from that movie is like, don't you care at all? He's like, oh no, yeah, no, the lives lost were great, but he like brushes it off. He's nonchalant, and like Snake gives him the wrong tape on purpose and walks off and destroys the tape that's going to stop a world war from happening, and that's how the movie ends. And so like, yeah, after playing this game, then watching that movie, it's just like, man, Kojima just like he takes from everything and he makes it. He does make it his own. He doesn't completely rip off the movie, but to take those themes of uh like the people you serve, especially large corporation government, do they actually really care about you? Not really. They just want their wheels to keep turning, keep the money, the power, everything, keep it going. And that's really what I got away from the end of this game with, and why Big Boss turns out the way he does. And they I think in the original Metal Gear games, he's portrayed a little bit more mustache twirly evil.
Sure.
But
yeah,
coming out of this game, it's more like, man, you really see how the man became that. Going through what he went through in this game.
Oh yeah, he never knew he was going to make Metal Gear Solid 3 back then. So
Right, yeah, and he's had to
he didn't want to go that far.
Yeah.
I really, yeah, you can see just from Naked Snake through to Old Snake in Metal Gear Solid 4, just the different cycle of war. But with the opening spiel, the opening cutscene of Metal Gear Solid 4, all about war never changing, and how Snake goes on about how now war is just fought by private military companies, and you just see the disposability, I suppose, of more of just governments hiring people, just actually just throwing money at lives that can easily be thrown away with no remorse because, hey, they're private military companies. And just, I suppose, it was the same beforehand, but they were given more clear instructions like the boss. Except now, yeah, war is just more ugly, more deliberate, but still kind of the same. Yeah, I really like Kojima's anti-war sort of message,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and he gets quite into it, I think, in 4 more so.
Okay.
But we didn't play 4; we played 3. And with the boss as well, just like with Ocelot, how he orchestrates it all, it's quite strange in a way, like, because you don't see much of like Ocelot's remorse, because isn't like the boss is his mum, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and like you
Yeah.
don't see any of that sort of
I
relation.
don't think we get that reveal in this game, because I
No.
went and looked it up. I was
Oh.
like, oh, who's the boss's child? And it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they don't really give it away at all in 3, and his relation to her, relations with her, I should say, in 3 is just quite standard. It's just, yeah. So makes me wonder, does he know that she's his mum? Because he really
Right.
just doesn't care.
Born on the battlefield and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and whoever opened her up to do the C-section really didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
They went a bit high.
Yeah.
They went a bit all over. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the baby starts at the top of the boobs, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. To be fair,
I
it was
think-
probably a field medic that did that, so they don't know.
They do the best they can with what they got, right?
And to be fair, it was written by Kojima, so
Yeah.
Had to be
Enough
shaped
said.
like a snake.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you had to make the C-section scar shaped like a snake somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, okay. So I know that there's a lot more to this game. I'm sure that everyone has more thoughts on just different aspects throughout the game we haven't touched on. This is not an exhaustive podcast, certainly not with all of us, having some time to talk. But I do have to say our time is getting short. So I'd like to just throw out any kind of final thoughts or anything that we haven't touched on yet that you want to bring up before we put this one to bed, before we sew it up, as it were. No, okay, cool. Well, thanks for no.
Man, I just feel like there's so much to talk about with this game.
Right.
I mean, we didn't even talk about like any of the boss fights, but man, they're just like I think it's like one of the
bees at one
highlights.
point.
The bees. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, we kind of did a little bit, but like each one is just so unique and so like I just love how like Kojima like changes up the gameplay for each one. There's a different strategy for each one, and it's dependent on like the character itself. Obviously, yeah, some of them were super frustrating. Like for me, I think it was not fear. Who's the one that's like upside down and he's in the forest and he
that's the fear.
That's fear. Okay, yeah, that one was tough because he's jumping around everywhere. What I was talking about with the control scheme.
That's like something you can. There's a great hack for that. You can do it in like literally 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
You just shoot all the poison dart frogs and he comes down and eats them because his camouflage eats away his stamina really quick.
Duh.
So he keeps getting hungry, has to eat, so you poison him, and it's such a quick
usually
fight.
what happened with this game, with most Kojima games for me, is if I get really stuck, I'll just Google what's the secret thing that Kojima put in there that I didn't think about, and there's.
Did you get stuck on Volgan? Because I totally forgot how to beat him. He was really annoying.
I had to look up how to beat. I had to look up how to beat most of the bosses, just because I don't have time to sit there for an hour and figure this out.
I know,
the end almost made me quit. I was so mad at the end.
Really?
Oh wow!
And then
that's such a good battle.
And then I find out you can kill him, like almost at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the wheelchair.
Yeah. You can just
you know,
snipe him and just he's dead. Just like oh man, then you just don't have to do the boss fight.
And that was one of the things, like, in my mind when I got to that point, I had enough Kojima experience where I was like, I bet I could kill him right now. Like, I had that thought.
I
I didn't
okay.
do it, but
I had that thought too. I'm like, man, can I? He's just sitting there. Can I just shoot him? And then they wheel him away. You got to do it like pretty quick.
yeah,
But
you do,
like
yeah.
the fact that you could even do that is
I
is
know.
amazing. It's why Kojima is so revered, and
Yeah,
not
all
only how
that's
he directs his
yeah.
games, but also like the mechanics he puts into them. He just thinks so outside the box.
It's so creative. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's great. But yeah, just all those like boss battles were so yeah, so unique, was so good. And obviously, I mean, we could talk about the themes of each boss, right? So they all represent an emotion. And it's
Hmm.
supposed to be, I think, an
Okay.
emotion that um like soldiers face, right? So it's like as a soldier you kind of have to like face all of these to make, to kind of be the real deal, or you have to be able to overcome, I think, each of these emotions. So that's kind of an
Okay.
interesting thing where it's like, I guess, like an imagery wise, Snake is like in this journey to overcome, to become
Mhm.
like the perfect soldier. So that's
Right.
kind of a creative way to do that.
Hmm.
But it's just funny how each of these emotions were like these super wacky, superhero villains that Kojima came up with out of his crazy mind of his. But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's funny you say they're the crazy zany villain, like Volgan especially, right? Like I can't let this go without pointing this out. Um, the torture scene, right, where Snake is, he infamously loses his eye, has the classic trope of, "Hey, I'm the villain, so I'm going to tell you all my secret plan, and because I know you're 100% going to die," and then the hero obviously doesn't die. But that's how you
Mhm.
find out where the philosopher's uh, legacy is he says, "You're never gonna find it. It's in this place, but you're getting tortured and you're gonna die and you don't get to find it." And spoiler, Josh, you do end up finding out where it is and you make it out. So
What do you know?
yeah,
You don't die from the torture scene?
yeah, you just lose your eye. That's it.
Hmm.
Yeah. um I had to point that out because I'm like, Volgan, why are you this way? What kind of character is this? I think even the creators knew this because after this game, the only other time you see him later on, he's just perpetually on fire. And so maybe that's a spoiler for a different game. But yeah, that's literally the only other time you see him. He's just constantly on fire. But yeah,
Wait, is Volgan a whale? No, I'm kidding. I think that's isn't the fifth one? Doesn't it start off with like a huge flaming whale?
yeah, it's similar to that. Yeah, you're on
Okay.
the right track.
Okay. I'm not crazy. I'm just I've just heard about Kojima games. I'm not crazy, promise.
You can say any silly thing and it'll make sense.
There you go. There you go. That is cool though. Even piecing together these different themes, because when I had asked earlier about what do you think he's trying to make a statement about, what is the game trying to say, it sounds like it's well done, but it does also sound like this is kind of more of a standard war story. Like this theme is talked about in a lot of different kind of war stories, but I do like even that element. I mean, I like it overall, but that element that you're talking about of even creating this perfect soldier and the things that he has to overcome, and that's pretty cool, thinking through how that is, because I don't get that much detail that is put into the previous two games. Now maybe it just went way over my head, but I see those bosses as just kind of like the big battle spectacle things that are in the game, as opposed to, oh no, actually they're representative of something deeper. Like that's actually really cool the way that's put together in this one. So
Yeah, I think in this game that was, an intentional difference, and maybe like Kojima went that extra step in this game because he had the
Mhm.
others, in the like the experience of the others, and then this one went to make the extra step. But yeah, I think like kind of what we were talking about earlier, with like the first two games in some aspects being a bit clunky in the delivery of the theme, and
Mhm.
trying to like not be too like dissonant or like a lack of consistency, right? With like the
Yep.
heaviness and the weightiness of the theme and like what was going on. I think this game balances it pretty well. And I think overall it's like the delivery is pretty successful in my opinion, and does a good job of delivering it well, and not like I feel like 2, for instance, like almost like slaps you with it, and you're just like, what in the world just happened? And 1 had it, but maybe a bit more simply, like a bit more of like a simple theme and message. But this one was really good. I think it's like it's significant. It makes you think at the end. And he does it in a surprisingly good way overall, like
Nice.
pretty concise and direct, maybe not concise, but in a way that you can understand and not have to watch like 2 hours of retrospective on YouTube or something to be
Right.
like, what just happened?
And it sounds pretty cohesive as well.
Yes.
To kind of piggyback off that a little bit, I think if I'm going to compliment this game on something, because I feel like I've been kind of harsh on it, is that I'm not so disillusioned to not know that this is generally considered one of the best of the series. And the reason for that, I think, is I said I'm going to give it a compliment. It's going to sound a little bit like a backhanded compliment, but this is Baby's first Metal Gear. And what I mean by that is it stands alone very, very well. Like, you could cut this game out by itself and not play any of the other games, not have any other context, and it will stand alone very well. Now, to knock my favorite, right, the second game, as great as I think it is, it won't be anything to anybody if you haven't really played the first one.
Yeah.
Right? Everything about that game is built off the first game, literally, to where the big reveal at the end is, oh, this guy's going through exactly what Solid Snake went through in the first game. Like, it's supposed to mirror that same experience. And so you have to have that context of the first game to really enjoy the second game. And so I think that's why the third game is kind of held in such high regard, is kind of like Michael was saying, is that it's, when you say concise, I want to use the same word, because it's a self-contained package, right? You can get everything just from playing that. Now, do you get more benefit out of playing the rest of the games and getting that other story? Yeah, you do. You get a lot out of it, but you could play this and not even know the other games exist, and still not really have any sort of well, I wonder what happened right here. I mean, you might wonder, but everything's pretty much tied up with a pretty good bow, I would say. It does lead you to say, okay, what happens from here on out with Big Boss? But aside from that, everything's pretty self-contained, and so I will commend it for that.
Nice.
Now, my question is, has MGS2 always been your favorite?
Before it came out, the first one was my favorite.
Okay, but like when it came out, like, because that game was super divisive when it came out. Like,
yeah, right. The big twist
I'd seen the intro mission of Metal Gear Solid 1 played, and I remember when Metal Gear Solid 2 came out, like, friends getting it being ticked off that what they do to Metal Gear and all this stuff. And
right.
so I just find it interesting that 2 is your favorite. And
I think it's partially because I had a lot of nostalgia tied to it. It was one of the first games that I went out and I was like, okay, I'm going to save up some money. I'm going to buy a game. That was the first game that I really did that with. And I really liked the meta narrative to it. I really like how it kind of pertains to today as well. Yes. I'm kind of scared if I were to go back and play it right now, because it probably shows some of the same flaws, and I don't want to admit any of that, so I'm not going to. But and it was one of those things where the scarcity of not having a bunch of different games kind of had me play through that several times. I got all the different wigs that you could get to have all the infinite ammo and all that. But the thing with Raiden didn't bother me. right? Because it was still a game about Solid Snake, in my opinion, right? So when Snake shows up in that game, you're not the guy, who's kind of not sure of himself playing as Snake in the first game, right? You're kind of the rookie, not really rookie, but he's still learning different things. Whereas in the second game, Snake shows up and he's kind of this mysterious. You don't really know who he is at first, and then you find out, oh, this is Solid Snake. He's this legend, and so it kind of fleshes that out in a way that you couldn't do if you were playing as Snake. And so I thought that was pretty cool. But we're not talking about Metal Gear Solid 2. But
right. No, I was just curious. I wasn't trying to dunk
No,
or
you're
anything,
good.
but just like
No,
you keep
not
like
at all.
yeah, I haven't finished 2. I know by reputation and the meta and how it pertains to today, and I find that all fascinating. I know that there's been some revisionism as to when it came out, it was not as beloved as it is today.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, was just curious about your thought, your take, your
Yeah.
experience with it.
Yeah, no problem answering that because, like I said, I know it's not usually everybody's favorite. Usually the third one is
Right.
generally seen as the crowd favorite. So, yeah, good question.
Awesome. Well, maybe after Delta comes out, maybe we'll have to gather some more thoughts and see if they do actually change anything, but see what happens with that one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Kojima would do, frankly. I mean, he could go crazy with it and change some major thing, towards the end,
Well,
whatever.
he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, he has nothing to do with this now.
Oh, that's
Konami,
right.
Konami
That's right.
cut ties.
Yeah. There you go. So then I take
Said
all of
he's
that
not
back.
even going to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I think Konami too is like gonna play it safe, right? 'Cause,
Right.
like it's
Yeah,
such,
they'd have to.
like people like idolize this game,
Mm.
and for them to be like risky and bold to like change anything, yeah, I'm not expecting much. They have some like I think added like extra missions and things like that, or like DLC or like extra modes and stuff. But yeah, I think the core game's the same. Because that
Gotcha.
would be a pretty bold move to
Yeah,
change any of it,
I didn't realize it. I should have, obviously, because he's not with Konami. He's got his own stuff going on. They're at the beach, but nah.
Delivering those boxes, man.
Right, exactly.
It's a lot
Doesn't
of
have
those
enough time.
boxes.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm going to throw it out there one more time. Any final thoughts as we put this to rest? It sounds like overall pretty positive on the game. Overall holds up for the most part, recognizing it's an older game with some older mechanics, but that it sounds like a lot of these themes though definitely still resonate. It's not all, back in the history. Like it still has some things to say nowadays. So it's good.
If you've always wanted to play it, then I reckon just wait for Delta to go on sale and pick it up. No reason not to.
Yeah.
And then you'll see why we like it so much.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I'll tell you too, is that even after this, I'm actually more inclined to go and play it because it's not that I disliked 2. It's just that the jarring nature of that game had me questioning if I'm just not a fan of Kojima in general. But it sounds like this one might be more up my alley. Although now I'm like, I don't know if the mechanics are going to be too much for me. So I don't know. I'm just all confused. But I will say that I am more inclined to play 3. I don't know when, but I own it, a couple different versions. So
And like
I'm more
one
into it after
thing with
this.
like 2, at least from what I understand, is like 2 is the culmination of the 3 games that come before it. And so like Metal Gear 2, and Metal Gear Solid culminate into 2 in a way that Metal Gear Solid 3 is we're going back to the beginning. So we're not building up. We're at the cornerstone.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's good. Awesome. Well, unless there's anything else to say, I just want to say I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time this evening, now morning, thanks to all the talking we've done here. But seriously, giving up your time to come talk, to give your opinions and interact and all that, but also to play through the game together. Obviously, this is a bit of a culmination, this recording, of some of the conversations that have been happening over in the Discord and playing through the game together. So appreciate y'all's time and thoughtfulness as well, and all that's gone into this, even with our, wacky side trails and all that fun stuff. So thank you guys for coming on this evening. I guess that pretty much ends it here. So as we get ready to kind of slink off into the sunset here, for anyone listening, obviously this was not comprehensive. I said that earlier. But if there was anything that you think we missed that we should have dug into further, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out and give us your feedback, tons of different ways that are available on our Linktree. That's linktree.com/the Backlog Breakdown. You can check out the Discord. You can join us there, or email us, or do all kinds of things. But
I was just going to say, keep your opinions to yourself, but you do things differently here. It's okay.
That's true. Yeah. If you do, just don't email UTP at Gmail. Is it Gmail in Australia? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you use. Is it Gmail.in? Oh, what is it? AUS?
Nah.
How do you end
it?
Okay.
Still just
AU.
gmail.com
Gotcha.
here. Yeah.
Ah, interesting. I wonder
Pretty
why
cool.
That is. Anyway. Awesome. Well, yeah, now you know how you can reach out to us, and I guess that pretty much closes. We're all fading,
Yeah,
we're
I'm
just
fading
about done
pretty fast here. I
Uh-huh.
think, Josh, it's about time we land this plane.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
We
I
should
think
do that.
we did the things. What should they do?
Guys, keep beating down your backlogs, and we'll keep breaking down the benefits.
This has been The Real Nate.